What is up, guys? Welcome to the free telehealth course. So in this video, or in this course really, I wanted to kind of talk about telehealth, talk about literally everything you guys need to know about telehealth. I spent the last probably, I want to say, week building this thing out for you guys to include everything you need, everything that's happening in the space right now. What is telehealth? Why someone would get into it? Why it makes sense as a business model? Why I think it's the best business model on the planet? And basically everything about telehealth, right? So again, this is a completely free course. We're not selling anything. I'm not going to pitch a product at the end of it, or withhold any information and be like, and if you want to learn more, sign up for my program. Like, none of that. It is completely free, and this is intended to give you as much value as possible. So I want you guys to walk away from this free course with more information, more value, notes, more knowledge than what you came into it with, right? And I promise you I can do that. So, it's going to be a long freaking course. You probably have to break it up. And make sure you take notes. Make sure you're taking your stuff seriously. Anybody who's watching this, it's going to be pretty advanced. I'm going to try and keep it beginner friendly in the beginning, but then we're eventually going to get pretty advanced with it, get into some advanced, business strategies, why it works. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to keep everything as transparent as possible. And again, if you're somebody who is looking into telehealth, you're somebody who is in telehealth, maybe you can already be in telehealth and this can help you, hopefully. You're somebody looking into telehealth, you don't even know what telehealth is, you're existingly doing telehealth. I promise you, this will help you, right? Like we're going to be going over everything, and obviously you can skip to certain parts you need, but I recommend for everybody just to watch through it. Watch through it. Get your knowledge, and hopefully we can help you, right? So without further ado, let us get into it. So I built out a deck here for you guys to kind of go over everything, the telehealth playbook, and just basically everything, right? Explain what telehealth is and whatnot, right? So in this, free course, what we'll be covering is who I am and why you would want to listen to me, how telehealth actually works, like what the actual model is, what telehealth is and whatnot. Next is the market and brands. Fourth, I'll be going over timing and why I think the timing is really important. Next, we'll be going over compliance and all the moving parts associated to it. Then we'll be going over paid traffic, mostly Meta, but I will kind of touch on to other platforms as well. Then I'll talk about organic and influencers and how you can do it with telehealth. Then I'll be talking about email and SMS and like what email platforms you need to use, how you should do SMS. Because again, guys, there's like specific things in the industry that people don't know. Then I'll be talking about scaling in the long-term game. Then I'll be talking about your 90-day roadmap. Assuming you wanted to start a telehealth brand today, then the platform going live, all that great stuff, and then just kind of like where you go from here, right? And the intention of this is to either empower existing telehealth brand owners, and honestly, people like, I'm trying to speak to the people who do e-com, right? Like if you're doing e-com, you either drop ship, you have your own brand, maybe you even do affiliate for other e-com brands. This is speaking to you because this could be the opportunity that takes you to millions a month, if not over 100 million a year. Telehealth is a moonshot play. And I would say this again, like if you're a complete beginner, I would not recommend it. If you're somebody who is making money with e-commerce, you're making money with an existing online business, telehealth is really good because it'll make sense to you. It'll make sense to you. You'll be able to kind of understand why this is such a good model, and you'll have the know-how to push, right? So I want to kind of speak to my existing business owners here to really help you guys out. All right, who this is for, who this isn't, like I just mentioned, because I want you guys to be honest. This is for operators who can drive demand, media buyers, D2C, agency owners, people who understand business, right? If you understand business and you ran paid traffic before and you understand paid traffic a little bit, this will be extremely helpful for you, right? And you can even do organic. Again, I'll get into the details here in a second, but anyone who understands how to run a business, right? E-com and supplement sellers who I want recurring revenue, that's a big one. Affiliates and creators who own the brand. I'm going to be honest with you, this could be really good for creators as well. People who have a platform, like you have a personal brand, you put out content, you're good at content. This is a huge opportunity for you guys as well, and I'll explain everything here in a second. And anyone who's willing to treat this like a real business. Who this is not for. People looking for a get rich quick button. I'm not looking for traders that are looking for the next best thing, or crypto guys, none of that. I'm willing to learn basic compliance because again, this industry can make you a lot of money, but you want to be safe and be compliant. I'll teach you all that as well. Can't fund ad spend, right, transparently, unless you are really good at creators and you're good at organic marketing, and you have your own platform, your own following, you have to spend money on ads, right? And if you don't have money for ads, it's not worth it. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Like, this business requires some capital. And next but not least, one passive income with zero work. Look, telehealth can be one of the most passive industries out there, especially if you acquire, customers and patients and you have a good system on the back end, which again, I'll go over on this free course. This could be really, really helpful. But if you don't have, not funding, if you don't have some capital to run ads and get sales, you don't have know-how in business, and you're not, if you're just looking for passive income like that, this is not for you. And then, moving forward here, module 1 is who am I and why you should listen to me, right? So before I even get into telehealth, what it is, why would you even listen to me in the first place? So why my opinion is worth your time, which again, I hope it is because you clicked on the video. I'm not a guru. I'm an operator who builds real businesses, right? A lot of people that do know me think, okay, Samir is just like a course seller, blah, blah, blah. Look, our ecom portfolio is on track to do 30 million a year, right? We did 20 million last year. We'll do about 30 this year. If you look at any of my previous videos, you see I'm very transparent about our ecom stuff, how we do it. We run a portfolio like a holdco of multiple different brands. We have, over, I think, like 30-ish employees now. It's we have a pretty good setup. I've been in ecom for about 5 years. I put out a lot of free content. Even though I put out beginner content, a lot of people think that all we do is sell courses. We don't. Info and education is one of the things that kind of just we do on the side to help people out. But just to give you a little bit of my story, guys, I started with absolutely nothing. I started pretty young. My business journey, I was selling electric lighters. That was my first product. And then I tried Amazon. I couldn't get it to work. I tried multiple different models. I kind of evolved into owning somewhat of an e-commerce portfolio because over time I started to get good at the game. I started to understand what was important, what wasn't important. I learned the industry, right? I turned that into a nutrient supplement company, again, doing 20 million plus a year. We sell, Nutra, which is supplements for my people who don't know, hair care products, cosmetics, anything recurring. I'm big on recurring, right? And that's why I love telehealth, and that's why you guys will as well, as I talk to you guys about it. I ran a team of 30 plus products, ops, media buying. I understand D2C really well, like direct to consumer, e-commerce, like this stuff is my mojo. It's my game, right? I spent years living inside of, CAC, AOV, retention. For my e-com guys out there, like what this is. And for my influencers and beginners out there, you're going to learn what this is. Make sure you learn it. But I learned the lingo of D2C in business because it's extremely important to make money. Now I'm putting all of that behind telehealth. Right, the path that got me here, right, and I'll kind of be transparent. So lighters were my first business. We sold electric lighters online. I learned how to work with China, source products. I was making videos about this lighter in my backyard. I was like literally filming videos with this product. My first products online, I took that, selling it, seeing the internet, and I learned paid traffic. So after that, I launched a lot of different products. I sold carnelian stones was one of the first products we did over $1 million in bottom line with. It was like some spiritual stones and whatnot. So I've sold a lot of different products. Then we kind of started building in the supplement and nutritonic space, and that's how we kind of really exploded because recurring revenues, good AOV, replicable systems between multiple different funnels. We really got good at what we did, right? And then we hit the ceiling, right? Because no offense to my supplement guys out there, but like but like the comparison is like supplements will never beat medicine, right? To really build a large business, you need people naturally coming back and wanting more of your product, and no product is better than medicine. And that's how I got into telehealth, right? And that's why I got into telehealth because, again, I'll explain what it is, but I kind of looked at, the e-commerce space. I looked at what I was doing. I looked at what my peers were doing, and I realized that, there's a big gap that we're missing, and I think telehealth will solve that, right? And again, I'm just wrapping up my story here so we can get into what telehealth actually is, right? So the lightest era, like I started up with no connections, no capital, nothing. I had to literally make money from zero. I learned how to find cheap suppliers. I figured out distribution. I lived on thin margins and reinvested basically every dollar when I started. And, I started as a hustle. And I'm pretty honest, like a lot of people have like different backgrounds. I didn't start like from like this like VC bootstrap or this VC world where it wasn't bootstrapped and I had funding and I had a raise and I had this crazy idea. I started as a drop shipper, bro. I literally started drop shipping lighters online. Like that was my first go around. And, we built a very large business because of that. Right. So like I mentioned, going from hustle to a real company, I moved the same instincts into supplements and Nutra, hired, train, and manage a team past 30 people, build the boring parts, fulfillment ops, scopes, support, finance, compliance. We crossed again $20 million in annual revenue, and we learned what it takes to run a real brand, not just sell one, right? Because I understood kind of like, the D2C world, like I mentioned, right? And like what scaling actually taught me, again, like I learned a lot about direct response, creatives, and a lot about creatives, a lot. Like marketing is so important for my ecom people out there. You guys know. We learned about numbers, again, living into the numbers, CAC, AOV, payback, LTV, retention, how important retention is, and how like when you start going through the numbers, you start realizing that like your product and your retention means everything. Like to my other, let's say people watching this that have a supplement brand, or you run like any sort of like subscription-based membership, supplement, whatever it may be. You guys know that, and I'm sure a lot of you entrepreneurs have had this before, where when you're running through your numbers and you kind of like, I do this myself, if I kind of model what my like profit would be and what my numbers would be if I just had like incrementally better retention, it changes the whole business. Like at the top of ecom, people just care about retention. I've met brand owners that are doing 9 figures a year. I've met people who've scaled to multi 9 figures a year in just a couple of years. I've met all different types of e-commerce people. And I've learned over the years that, one of the only things that matter is like how many people come back and buy more, right? That's the secret. Operations and systems matter more than any single tactic. That was a big lesson as well. And, how to run a team. And here's a big thing that no one really talks about, right? It wasn't just a straight line. There was a lot of times where I got cooked, right? Cash crunches when ad spend outran the revenue. Especially when you're doing recurring, you have to have really good forecasting or you'll get cooked. Supply chain breaks that cost real money overnight. Platform bans. I mean, how many, hand raise if you've been banned on Shopify payments before, if you've been banned on Stripe, if you had an ad account go down. Like these things happen all the time, especially Shop Pay going down, especially for my people who are in recurring. If you're building a supplement business and you're going to get recurring revenue and you're going to use Shopify, and you can use Shopify payments because everyone uses Shopify payments. For my people that don't know, if your Shopify payments account goes down, bye-bye to all your recurring revenue. All your tokens, all your like subscribers are linked to your Shopify payments. So if your payment account goes down, you lose all your recurring revenue overnight. That's your whole business. You could go negative on acquisition and lose money to acquire those subscribers, and they could just be gone like that. That's happened to me multiple times. It sucks. It happens to a lot of people, right? Learning that a thin margin model has no room for mistakes. And those scars are exactly why I value recurring owned model now, which is telehealth. And this is kind of getting into telehealth, and we're going to kind of like lean into it. So why supplements stop being enough, right? I didn't leave it because it failed. I left it because I saw better. Supplements are mostly one-time sales. You rebuy customers forever, and the people who do get on subscription, they churn. They churn quickly because most supplements don't work. Like I'm being very transparent with you guys. Like a lot of the supplements on the market, a lot of the supplements that dropshippers sell, Nutra people sell, they don't really work. Like they don't give a proper solution. Ad costs eat the margin on every single dollar. Low barrier means endless copycats. Whenever I have something working, like 1,000 people copy me right away. No clinical moat and no recurring base to compound, no proper recurring base to compound. And I wanted an asset that pays me every month and holds its value and can grow internally even by word of mouth, right? So I'm betting everything on telehealth, right? So again, like what is telehealth? Telehealth is essentially, it's drop shipping, first of all, right? It's literally drop shipping. You're drop shipping medicines to customers. And I think the best way to explain telehealth is by giving you guys examples. There's going to be a crap ton of examples I give in this program, but some examples of telehealth brands could be Hims & Hers, which is the one everybody knows, Blue Chew, which is a really popular niche one that sells ED meds online, MediV, which was the most recent first single-person billion-dollar company. If you guys haven't seen the MediV case study, I made a video about it on the channel as well, talking about Matthew Gallagher, which is the person who created MediV and how he became the world's first single-person billion-dollar company, right? And how that was with telehealth. There's a lot of different examples. Those are just 3 that came to my mind. There's so many. I'll be going over them today in my free course for you guys. But telehealth is essentially dropshipping medicine to the customer, right? One of the most popular medicines that people sell are GLPs, trizepatide, semaglutide. everybody knows about GLPs, right? And like so many companies have hit nine-figure a year run rates because of GLPs and telehealth. It's been around for a very, very long time, right? Now, the thing about telehealth is you're not just selling GLPs. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of medicines out there. You can also sell your own medicine. You can have pharmacies, which again, I'll explain how you do it here in a second, to literally make your own medicines. You don't have to sell the ones that are available. You can mix stuff together. You can do bundles, and there's countless different medicines. The biggest misconception about telehealth is like you can only sell GLPs. There's so many things you can sell, right? So telehealth is essentially drop shipping from pharmacies, and in between it is a doctor, right? So the way it works is when you buy from a telehealth business, it's just e-commerce. It's a sector of drop shipping, like I mentioned, because you don't even own inventory. When you buy from, let's say, Hims, right? Hims, there is what we call an intake form, which is essentially just like a quiz funnel before the checkout. You go through it, which just takes like a minute. The customer goes through it. Then they get to the checkout and they buy. The thing about telehealth is it's all prescriptions. And a prescription is a subscription. So it's all recurring revenue, guys. It's all recurring revenue. It's the best model on the planet. So when someone buys from a telehealth business, what happens is, and I'll actually model this out for you guys right here. This actually might be a little bit helpful. You know, we had to bring out the drawing today. So when a customer buys from a telehealth business, we'll put the customer at the top, right? More. By the way, I'm not Picasso. I can't draw that well. So when a customer buys from a telehealth business, what happens is they first will go through what we call an intake form. So intake, right? And I'll show you guys examples of this as well. They go through an intake form. From there, they get down to the checkout. So checkout. Right? And again, this is usually a subscription, and it's white hat. It's a white hat. It's a compliant. It's completely compliant subscription. So subscribe, right? And then from there, the order. We'll put it like this. So the order gets to the customer, and I'll explain everything. Order goes to the customer, right? Customer. Now, this long line you guys see here, right? What does this long line mean? This is everything that happens in between the order going to the customer. So first, the order will go to a doctor, to the doc. I'll explain why this is very important here in a second. The order will go to the doctor, right? And then once the doctor approves the order will then get sent to the pharmacy. Pharma. These are real pharmacies in the USA. Real pharmacies that you get your medicines from, right? And then here, the pharmacy will literally drop ship it, drop ship it to the customer, right? And if the customer has any questions, they get connected directly to the doctor for questions in a doctor chat of some sort, right? Where they can ask the doctor like, hey, I want to increase my dose. Hey, I want this isn't working. I want more stuff, blah, blah, blah. So the thing about telehealth, why it's such a good business is as a brand, right? If you start a telehealth brand, you basically own this. You own the doctor to customer relationship, right? And this relationship is where all the money is. I know I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself here. But for example, if the customer buys from, again, your brand, right? And they want to, and they tell the doctor, like it's on their phone, and I'll explain all this, how it all works here in a second. I'm just kind of getting over the general idea. They could be like, yo, doc, I want to up my dose, or like, hey, I want more months, or I want this, I want that, or like, I have a question. The doctor will service the customer, and you get paid for everything they service the customer for. So they tell the customer like, yo, the patient, the customer is like, my energy levels are low because of these GLPs. The doctor would be like, have you tried NAD? I can give you NAD. Here's 20% off, and I'll explain again how all this works. And the customer would be like, cool, yeah. So like the doctor can literally upsell for you, because that's what doctors do. Who are the best salespeople on the planet are literally doctors, right? Because if the doctor tells you to get something, some medicine, doesn't matter. You're not asking, is it a subscription? You're not asking any of these questions. you're buying it, right? So the customer is continuously working with the doctor to improve their health. Even if you got them in for ED, there's a billion other things they can buy, and I'll explain all the products here in a second. But this is a relationship you own. So even though you are not the doctor, even though you are not the pharmacy, even though you are not like you're just a marketer, really, you're just a brand owner, you make all the money on the back end. You don't just get the recurring from the order, but you also get all the other stuff that the doctor will push on them. You own the relationship, right? And that's why telehealth works so well. Like, when I'm in this position where, I'm running a $30 million, well, not $30 million, but like a $20 million a year supplement and e-commerce portfolio, and I'm looking for the next step. When I started to dig into telehealth and understand how the industry works and why it's so good, it just became extremely clear to me, guys, that like, holy crap, like I just have to do what I'm good at, which is get the purchase, right? And that's either through influencers, my own personal brand, ads, which we're big on ads, right? I just have to get the purchase. And then once I get the purchase, there's recurring revenue. There's a doctor connection. So the customer service is a bit automated there. There's all these things like on the back end that make it such a good business model, right? Like, again, it's dropships. I don't need to own inventory. And I know dropshipping. It's the highest form of dropshipping. For my people that know me out there, you guys know I'm like one of the only legit dropshippers out there. And I was thinking, like, what is an industry that I can do a subscription, an automatic subscription where it isn't frowned upon, right? I can have a high AOV, so average order value, so people will spend a lot of money with it. I can have a high LTV, lifetime value, so customers stay around for a while, so I'll keep making money off of them. And I can, on top of that, have a really good product without having to spend years on R&D and coming up with stuff on my own. And when I found about telehealth, it literally crossed all those boxes. You have a high AOV because people spend a lot on medicines, right? Doesn't matter if you're selling GLPs, NAD, hair treatment, hair loss. And I'll go over all the different medicines that you can sell and examples and why it's there's so many out there and it's not saturated. There's people spend a lot of money, right? LTV, people stick around because the product actually works. You want to make a product that works. Don't spend 6 months to a year building the next best supplement or the next rise or whatever it is. Telehealth, you can drop ship medicines. Nothing works better than medicines. There's a reason people go to the doctor. There's a reason why people take GLPs and not take like these BS, drop ship supplements because they don't work. Like if you want to have a business that is at a certain point automated, making millions a month that can be sold for like to 8 to 9 figures, you have to sell a product that works. Like you can only get so good at marketing, and telehealth allows you to skip right to a product that actually works, right? And again, like you own the doctor to customer relationship, and that's where like the real product is that's where the moat is, like the customer to doctor relationship, right? Here's an example of a telehealth brand that I actually personally think is one of my favorites. If you guys haven't seen Blue Chew before, they're in the ED space, so they're like men's ED. And because the reason I want to show you guys this one too is because everyone thinks it's just GLPs, but like no, these guys do ED. They have a lot of great comedians and people, ambassadors and whatnot. So again, Blue Chew is telehealth, and the way it works is like if you go to their website, it goes straight to an intake form. So this is the intake form I was talking about. As you can see, it's very very focused on ED, right? And then boom, then there's like this. This is like the product page. Try gold. I think they're gonna take me to another intake form. Okay, they're gonna make me go through this. I'm gonna give you guys another example. Okay, let's look at Fellas. Fellas is a GLP brand that focuses just on men, specifically like truckers. They're actually one of my favorite examples of a GLP brand. So you can see they have the intake form, just like I explained. They're just like quiz funnels at the end of the day, right? So what is your priority? Lose weight. None of these. And it's just like a quiz funnel a little bit. So let's just say we're in Florida. Date of birth, we're just gonna put like a random day. We'll say we're 1986. Feet 5'5". We're gonna say we're 250, so we're overweight. Goal weight 155. Forgot to say male, not active. And again, a lot of these questions are, some of these questions are for CRO, so like to actually like get the customer engaged by answering them, and some of them are actually medical questions the doctor needs to see. No, no, no. I'm just showing you guys what it looks like. All right, boom. So you can see we proved it, and like the intake form's done, and then you can kind of see the medicine, right? So they're doing what we call they're doing non-compounded, which I'll explain here in a second. But yeah, you can see kind of how it works, and yeah, that's really it. And they have it's like a monthly subscription, right? And this is the checkout, and from here you just buy, right? Pretty simple stuff. Where are we? Okay, cool. So yeah, like I explained, guys, it's pretty simple. Like again, what I just showed you was the intake side of things, and then everything outside of that, like this actually comes after you buy the product, right? Pretty straightforward stuff, right? Nothing too complex there, but that's kind of how what telehealth is and how it works. Okay, so what you'll walk out with this program, right, or free program, is a clear understanding how telehealth works and how it makes money. Because I just gave you guys a general idea, but there's a lot more in terms of like how it works, the difference between compounded and non-compounded medicine, um, the async and sync consults, which are very important, because what you guys just witnessed right there was what we call an async consult, meaning that like there's no like face-to-face like time with the doctor or anything. It's just like all done through like virtually. The doctor will see like the thing and approve it or disprove it. Maybe they'll text the patient if there's a question, but typically not. That was async. And then the brands, medicines, I'll show you more brands, medicines, paid and organic playbook. So this is where it gets really important. This is where my existing telehealth business owners will kind of benefit from, and influencers as well. We're looking to get started because I think there's a huge gap in the market for telehealth brands that actually understand influencer marketing. Blue Chew understand influencer marketing, and they do 100 million a year. And like trust me, I've seen the back end of a lot of these businesses. Like with proper influencer marketing, you're going to blow it out the water. Compliant infrastructure, right, and a 90-day plan. Now, here, I'm going to give you guys a straight promise. I'll show you what's working right now with real numbers. I'll tell you where the hard parts are before you hit them until you know exactly what to do. And I'll point you at the open lanes, not just the crowded ones. So again, like the blue oceans that are available in the industry right now. And I'll show you the exact platform to use to run all of it. And again, what this program is not, I want to make this very clear so I'm compliant and I'll get in trouble. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a real business. This is not passive. You have to run the business, actually. Just like anyone teaching you e-com, anyone teaching you dropshipping, this is like a real business. This is not a loophole. This is compliant, and this is, more importantly, it's compliant so you could exit, right? Because I'll talk about why the exit is so important in telehealth and how you can get such a big exit. This is not theory. Everything I'm showing you is being worked on right now. Brands are doing it like the ones I showed you. Brands have been doing it for a while now, just the people are catching up. And if this sounds good, let's get into it, right? So why am I showing you this? I'm not just teaching this. I built the rails for it. I'm being fully transparent. I believe that everybody like watching this, I don't think anybody is stupid, and I'm so like not into like sneak selling anything or anything. We own a telehealth platform, so I, transparently, if I can teach you guys, and maybe some of you guys use our platform, it's a win-win. So it doesn't really hurt us at all. I'm not forcing you guys to use the platform. You could watch all this and say, F it, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna use a platform. I'm gonna figure out stuff on my own or use a competing platform. It's completely fine. As long as I can help some of you guys understand telehealth, make money with telehealth, and put more people on, because I believe it's the future of e-commerce and it's already showing. That's a win-win, right? So again, I'll walk through all this stuff later. Just for now, I just want to kind of make that clear so there's no like sneak attacks or guerrilla warfare, as some say, as we get to this. So let's get into module 2, which is how telehealth actually works. In module 2, we're going to kind of be going over a little bit about how telehealth actually works. And yeah, just a little bit of a breakdown. I'll try not to repeat some of the stuff that I just went over. I'll try and like add on top of it too. So the more you guys understand, obviously, the better. But let's get into it, right? So telehealth is e-commerce with a doctor in the middle, like I described. Let's move myself up here. So the front end is a normal store, right? Like these brands that I showed you. Again, I'll list some of them out, and we'll kind of go through the list later on here. But Fellas, MedAV, Blue Chew, MailMD, Core Age RX. I'll do a whole master list as well because I'll really help explain it to you guys. Those are just some of them, and there's a lot of them as well that are in the sleep and the energy. Like it's not just GLPs. I'll keep saying that. I'll keep saying that over and over again because people think it's just GLPs. It's not just GLPs, right? Telehealth is e-commerce with a doctor in the middle. The front end is a normal store with a quiz funnel. The difference is an intake and a licensed provider in the flow. The provider prescribes, a pharmacy fulfills, a patient gets shipped. The customer lands on a subscription because every refill recurs. What's the one subscription nobody's going to question? That is a prescription, right? Right. One order start to finish. So the middle 3 steps and the things that separates this from normal e-com. Again, a quiz. It's kind of just like quiz funnels, intake forms. Even though like it's for the doctor, trust me, you can optimize it for the brand by having little questions in between that basically like make people more excited to buy the product. Anyone who does e-com, you guys know this is a very easy tactic. A lot of big brands do this, like Spartan Hair Care is a brand that does this really well. And they're not telehealth, but they could crush it with telehealth. Checkout, they pay like every online order. Now you have a customer and an intake on file. The doctor network, the intake routes to licensed provider for review and approval. A clinic physician approves the prescription, usually without a live call. So that's the difference between, which I'll explain here, is async and sync. Then the pharmacy, this script goes to a partner pharmacy that fills the ship to the door. And then the subscription, again, it's a subscription, right? And again, the intake form is the quiz funnel, right? This actually naturally helps the AOV as well. Guys, I've been in e-com for years. I've never seen AOVs like I have in telehealth because the AOV is just so high because obviously the medicine works, but the actual intake funnel, the quiz funnel, makes the customer want to buy more because they're just getting primed up, right? And this is a strategy that we see in normal e-com that also carries over to telehealth as well. Now, I know I've mentioned like the async stuff as well. I want to kind of clear that up. So right now, there's 2 types of consults that are in telehealth. And a consult is essentially what happens for the doctor review process, right? So like, again, like you have, like after the intake form. This is all after the intake form. So the intake form is happening regardless. There's 2 types of doctor consults. The first one is what we call async. And the second one is what we call sync. Right? So async means that, you know, the doctor doesn't get on the phone. The doctor approves the med, let's say for now just for the med, on his/her own accord without interacting with the patient. Sometimes the doctor might shoot a message. Right? So that's the first one. The doctor doesn't necessarily talk directly to the patient. That's why it's async. Now sync, the doctor and the patient have to sync up. That's how you can think of it. Is that how you spell doctor? Sorry. Doc. I'm just going to say doc, right? All right. The second one is what we call sync. So doc gets on a virtual meet with the patient to treat them and ask questions. Typically with sync, you will not have an intake, just a small questionnaire and call funnel, right? Or sometimes full intake, right? So now with most of the meds that you're going to be selling, right? So like GLPs, longevity, I'm going over term ED, female ED, which is a big one, a lot of people don't know, energy, hair loss, women's hair loss. And the list goes on and on and on. These are just some of them. I mean, like for you guys that, because I know a lot of people have doubts, like, oh, everyone's really selling the medicines. No, like, bro, you literally got like toe fungus, that's a big one. You have parasites. You have so much EDC. It doesn't stop, right? Most of these are gonna be uncontrolled substances. Most of them are, right? I'll talk about controlled versus uncontrolled as well. Most of these are gonna be uncontrolled substances, and they can be async consults. So you don't need to have a whole call funnel. It's still, attributed and treated like normal e-commerce. Like I said, like Fellas and Blue Chew, these brands, like they're not doing doctors aren't talking over the phone. It's very it's not like an intensive thing. It's like they're approving a lot of people. It's just very normal, right? When it comes to sync, that's when it comes to people can do sync with like the medicines I mentioned above and like uncontrolled substances like medicines. That's completely fine, but mostly sync is done for stuff like TRT, HRT. And by the way, you can still do HRT and BHRT. You can still do that with uncontrolled, but HRT, those are the most popular ones. But there's super aggressive medicines. Like I'm just gonna put like high risk and more disease treatment based stuff. That is usually a sync because the doctor would want to talk to the patient or something like that. This brand right here called getmedkits.us, they sell basically ivermectin, and they help with like parasites and whatnot. And this brand does really, really well. This is a good example. There's a lot of different funnels I can show you, but how it works is for example, the funnel is completely going to be a call funnel, right? So you literally talk to the doctor. They run ads to a call funnel, and then the doctor approves it, and that's how they get the sale, right? So again, this stuff is all call funnel based, right? And whatnot. So yeah, pretty interesting. Again, it's still telehealth. It's just a different type of telehealth. And I hope that kind of clears it up. So again, intake form is quiz funnel. We talk about async versus sync visits and a little bit there. Now, how to think about the intake design, good intake converts. So again, a lot of them are very simple. And depending on the platform you work with, Remo, the intake forms are already handled for you because, a good platform will kind of know what converts and build that out for you, already have it being built out. The doctor network, again, you don't have to hire doctors. In fact, you don't need to hire a network. Doctors work through doctor networks. Basically, a network of clinicians, or sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. A network of doctors. Before you think you can just have a single doctor approve everyone for you, that's not how it works. There's kind of a bit of a back-end headache of licenses and state licenses and all that. And they all are attached to a network and they all kind of share risk and whatnot. Typically, you pay per consult via the platform you work with, and it scales with your volume instead of capping it. And this is a piece that almost no one can build alone because you need volume to build out a doctor network, and it's quite expensive. Again, this is kind of done through the platform you guys choose to use when you start. A little bit of sneeze there. All right. Now, async versus sync, like I just kind of explained, I kind of end up getting ahead of myself with this, but sync again is, I think this is, this is right. Sync is live and async is not live. Again, they both work. They both are great. They both have their own benefits. For example, sync might have a better LTV because someone's talking to the doctor live, but the acquisition costs will be a lot higher because people don't want to get onto the call, especially from GLPs. Async, you'll be able to acquire more people, but you might have a higher churn, but there's ways you can mitigate that by having sync on the back end, which we'll talk about as well. Now, approval and e-prescribing from clinical decision to a pharmacy in seconds. The provider approves and writes a prescription. This is done within the same day usually. People get product usually the next day. E-prescribing routes it electronically to the pharmacy. No paper, no fax, no manual handoff. The whole system can happen within minutes. It usually does. And speed here is a part of the customer experience. So a lot of it goes back to the platform as well, having all this stuff handled for you guys. But it's very important as a brand owner for you guys to understand all this stuff. Now, the pharmacy and the dropshipping, like I explained, you never touch a bottle or box. The script lands at the partner pharmacy. They compound or fill the medication. They ship it straight to the patient. They dropship as you don't hold inventory. Reliable fulfillment is part of why the patient stays. I'll actually show you guys an example of the product right now from a pharmacy. I don't know what I could. hopefully, am I allowed to show you this? Okay, I'll just kind of show you. It comes in the pharmacy packaging here, but this is actually a product. I'll put it. It's it's ED. So this will get me hard as a rock. It's blurring out, but it's sildenafil and tadalafil, all kind of put together, and it's in one kind of like chew, right? If I take this right now, which I'm not, if I take this right now, I will be able to basically smash a tree with my penis. That's how strong these things are. But this is an example of like a product. Like if I went ahead and bought this would come in fairly quickly because it comes from the pharmacy. The doctor proves it right away, and like this whole process I'm talking about, right? So yeah, pretty cool stuff. You can build your own custom formulations. This is what a lot of people don't talk about. There's a little bit of a process behind it, but I do want to kind of open up the conversation here. Acquired superpower most e-commerce completely miss is that compounding pharmacies can make custom doses and combinations, blend ingredients into one product like a combo capsule, create formulation as a reseller competitor simply can't match. Dial the dose to your own protocol and brand. Product becomes genuinely yours, not just relabeled, right? I know a lot of people get into telehealth and are like, oh, why would I just sell the same thing as anybody else? First of all, there are so many other medicines out there that people aren't selling. You can stand out in a million different ways. For example, fellas did a really good example of that by only focusing on truckers and men for GLPs, not women, and they scaled faster than anyone else, right? It's a really good example. And you can do like a lot of different things. Like for example, a lot of people nowadays are like, these are just random examples I'm thinking of. A lot of people like microdose Cialis and microdose like ED pills, but for like energy and blood flow. That's a brand of its own. Like don't take a cup of coffee, microdose this instead. Boom. Like that's 100 million a year right there. Like there's so many examples, right, with existing medicines and just being creative. But if we want to take it even a step further, right, you can go ahead and sell. So you can go ahead and sell like new stuff. Like you can work with a platform like Remo and sell new stuff. There's just a process behind it, but it's very doable. And like you can work with a team and actually come up with unique medicines, and we can make them for you. But that's just one thing. Like before I even move forward here, because I love to talk about this side of the business because a lot of people think it's a downside. It's not. Like if any of you guys are coming from the affiliate space and the supplement space, you know that most of the stuff that sells has been around for a while. How many mushroom coffee brands do we know? How many, and on the direct response side, how many turmeric people do we know? On like, for example, like Shilajit. Anybody who knows what Shilajit is, there have been so many drop shippers and so many brands that have made money selling Shilajit, and it's the same thing, just repackaged in different ways. Anyone who's been in the e-commerce space, you guys realize that it's the marketing that actually matters and nothing else matters. So before you think about medicines and think about like, oh, like there's not that many out there, first of all, let's say there wasn't a way for you to create your own medicine, and that like you can't be unique and whatnot. Just by being better at distribution and either using influencers or being better at ads or whatever it may be, you still will win. There's still so much money to be made just because the economics are so good in this business and the product works and there's so much demand and there's so many new people coming into the market every day. You know how many new customers are coming in every single day looking for GLPs, looking for medicines, looking for peptides, RX peptides. People are on their, like this is the most trendy thing right now and everyone wants to get their piece of the pie, and this is where it's at. And I know I just quickly mentioned peptides. I'm going to talk about RUO, research only, and RX here in a bit, because a lot of people think about peptides. They think about, like Peptide Science and Onyx Research and all these brands. These are RUO illegal websites that you should not be looking at. I'll tell you why. But again, we'll get to that here. I have it all planned out. Right, so let's talk about a little bit of the pharmacy side, because again, I want you guys to understand how the model works. Everything comes from a 503A pharmacy. 503 means patient-specific compounding by state licensed pharmacy. So like the product I just showed you, at the back of it says my name. That means that the pharmacy compounded and made this thing. Like the order went to them and they compounded it and made it and shipped it out to me. Right? 503B are larger outsourcing facilities, federally registered, that they'll make like large amounts of the medicine at a time. You're only going to be dealing with 503A. Compounded GLP options usually run through 503 today. The right partner depends on the medication and rules. We go deeper on the legal side in Module 5, but again, you don't really have to worry about that because depending on the platform you use, cough, Remo, all that stuff is kind of already done for you. Now, the big idea is a prescription is a subscription. I wanted to figure out what was the cleanest, most compliant, and the best industry for me to automatically charge a subscription. Because I have been years in e-com. I can tell you guys right now, it is very hard to make the business work without a subscription. You have to be a moonshot play, really lucky, really good at something like distribution. Like unless you're starting the next Comfort or the next Coca-Cola, whatever it is, you have to have some sort of subscription to win quickly on the economic side. I want my business the first year to make $10 million. I will not touch an industry if it doesn't make $10 million in the first year. I will not touch it. I will not even look at it. And I want you guys to be thinking about the same way. So before getting into it, you should look into like, okay, can the economics support getting to $10 million the first year? You need to get everyone on a subscription so you can keep regrowing and reinvesting and growing, right? A prescription is a subscription. That's just what it is. That's what it's always been. Refills refill automatically every cycle with no reselling. Real Telehealth offers are roughly $150 to $300 a month. Patients say because the results matter, then trust me, the product works. That part is already done for you, right? Hims and Hers earns about 90% of its revenue from its recurring base. That's a really exaggerated business because they're the largest ones out there. But if we look at the smaller guys, by the way, when I say smaller guys, like the smaller guys are all 9-figure brands, and the even smaller guys are all 8-figure brands as well. Like everyone's like printing in this industry, right? If you get up, you get going, you start making money, you'll be printing, right? It's a subscription that no one questions, right? When you go to the doctor's office, when you go to the med spa, med clinic, and you buy a product, where you go in for some sort of treatment, you get put on a prescription. That's a subscription, and you're not questioning it. You're not thinking twice, like, oh, no, you're on the treatment, you're on the medication, right? And if it's not working, and someone tells you to like stay on it, like if you're a clinician or doctor tells you like, hey, you've only been on it for 2 months, you got to stay on for another 3 months, and you'll see the progress. You're going to renew. You're going to stay on it because you're getting, it's a medicine. Like there's this pre-notion in your head, right? On a supplement, right? Let's say someone's taking Rise coffee, right? I like to use Rise as an example because they're a 9-figure business or they're a $1 billion company. And let's say if it's not working and the customer service rep says, oh, you have to stay on another couple months for it to work. They're going to be like, screw this product, I don't want to take it anymore. So with medicines, that doesn't happen that much because people understand that medicines work. It's like no one has the limiting belief that medicines don't work because everyone knows they work because that's why they're in medicine, right? So, and this kind of leans into why churn stays so low, right? The product provides a visible result that they don't want to lose. This is for GLPs. This is for everything because it works. Stopping has a real cost, so it works in your favor. Refills are automatic, so there's no repurchase decision. Around 82% of Hims users stay past 3 months. Low churn is what makes the MRR compound, right? It's very, very strong stuff. And then on top of that, the patient care, right? Like I mentioned before, as a brand, the bigger picture is you own the doctor-to-patient relationship. When a person buys your product and becomes a patient, there's something called a doctor chat that they get access to. And again, this is all done for you, right? They get access to a doctor chat where they can message a doctor directly if they have any questions. The doctor will actually upsell them more stuff on the back end, which we'll talk about here in a bit. The doctor will take care of them. All this stuff happens, and that's the reason that the churn is so low because they're actually getting taken care of. And there's obviously things that you can do on top of that that are cheap and affordable, that are very easy to put into place to make the patient care even better. But this is like a very important part of the model because this is how you compound. Like you can become a 9-figure brand and very quickly. I've seen telehealth businesses, and I swear to God, I've seen telehealth brands that have scaled to 9 figures a year in 1 to 2 years. I've seen shit in this industry that's making me just blow my mind. And every time I go deeper into it, it just keeps blowing my mind, right? You own a doctor-to-patient relationship. Again, the provider talks to the patient under your brand. You own the patient, the data, and the recurring revenue. The relationship is the moat. It's sticky and hard to copy. This is the single best reason telehealth brands beat one-time e-com and even subscription e-com as well. You should own your data too. And a good setup to assets are yours, patient records, card tokens. Card tokens are a huge thing. Again, raise of hands. Anybody here who has dealt with Shopify payment ban, you know this. You don't own any of your tokens. If you're running on Shopify, right? We don't compete with Shopify. We are telehealth. They are not. But let's say you're doing a Shopify brand, a subscription brand like Rise or Mars Recommend or any of these brands, and your Shopify payments goes down or they give you a reserve or whatever happens, you're screwed. Because your tokens are not yours. The customer tokens, and for people who don't know, a token is basically the customer like card data. It's for fancy way of saying card data because you're, on subscriptions, you recharge your cards. You don't own the cards. Shopify does. So if they ban you on just your payments, boom, there goes all your MRR. You could have a business doing 10 million a month. You could be building up this business for years and you get it to 10 million a month. And if Shopify one day, which they do, if you look on X, you look up Shopify payment ban on X, you'll see so many horror stories about this. It's very common. They could ban you like that. You should be able to export everything on demand. Owning the data is what makes the business sellable later, which is very important. We'll talk about exits here in a bit. Avoid platforms that hold your customers hostage, which are like all of them, and ownership is a recurring theme protected. Telehealth versus normal e-com, right? Same engine you already know. 3 bolt-ons that change the economics completely. So again, normal e-com, one-time sale, require forever. Margin eaten by ads every order, easy to copy, price wars, no recurring base. Telehealth, subscriptions from day one, high AOV, strong payback. Regulatory moat that compliance can't skip, and I'll talk a little bit about that actually right now. And compounding recurring revenue. Now, one thing I have not talked about in telehealth that is very important is every telehealth business has a legit script. So every telehealth brand, if you go to the bottom, right, is a legit script. We are legit script certified. Our pharmacies and telehealth services are legit script certified, meaning that we're verified, we're licensed, and we're safe. So this is like this is the main thing, legit script certification, right? And it's like a real website. You guys can look into it. You cannot do telehealth without a legit script. It's like the barrier to entry, right? It's actually, for your knowledge, a Visa-owned company. Visa owns legit script. So when you get a legit script, that's when you get your payment processing. You can't do any payment processing without a legit script. You can do your like ads. You can get ad accounts white labeled. You can like run the model. You won't get shut down. Legit script is like the big bad boss in this game. And again, they're a Visa-owned company. With telehealth, you can process with Stripe. Okay, and that's a big one. Like you can get Stripe set up where, and again, we on Remote we help with this, but you can get Stripe set up where you own all your tokens. And I highly recommend anyone who's doing telehealth, you either use Stripe or Quantum. Those are the 2 best ones. There's also another one called Lucra. Lucra is pretty good as well. But Stripe, you honestly can just scale up with Stripe. They have all the payment methods there, buy now, pay later, all this great stuff. I'll talk about payment processing later on, but you can do Stripe. Once you have your legit script, Stripe is the easiest thing to set up. It's super compliant, and it's one of the only businesses in the world where you could do subscription only on Stripe with no problems. Stripe, between you and me guys, Stripe is literally cold emailing telehealth businesses to get their business. They want telehealth brands because they understand this is the future. It's compliant, it's high revenue subscription, it's good, people will come in, people will buy, right? I could obviously connect you to Stripe reps. If whatever you guys need, you can always DM me if you have any questions and whatnot. But Stripe is like goated with telehealth, and you need a legit script, right? So again, depending on the platform you guys work with, legit scripts are part of the deal. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. But again, like legit scripts are a very important process part about this whole process. The misconception to kill first, right? Newcomers think these meds are one shady thing. They've seen research peptide-only sites. Again, you guys don't realize, but research peptide, like there's a difference between RUO, research-only peptides, and RX. RX is what we do, which I'll explain in a second. They assume that's the whole category. They don't know a compliant prescription version exists. This is important for peptides as well. Cleaning this up is half the battle in your marketing. Right? 3 lanes, know the difference. RUO, research-only, gray market peptide sites. I'll show you examples here in a second. Not for human consumption, scammy, non-compliant, shaky payments, not a real brand. RX, prescription, old way, a real prescription through a traditional in-person doctor visit. That's the definition of RX, right? Now, telehealth RX, what we do, the open lane, legit prescription, compliant, and shipped to the door. This is where a real brand gets built, right? So let me actually show you. Here's an example of a research. Where's my thing? Here's an example of a research-only website. These are like the RUO websites that I was talking about. Again, like these are super sketch. I know people that have literally gone to jail because of this. Like you should not be doing this, but this is what people think telehealth is when I say telehealth, but it's not. Peptide science, like this is one of the most popular ones. They literally have to say on it, it's for research and investigation purposes and not suitable for human consumption. So it's a huge gray area. It's impossible to run ads on this. You can't even do payment processing on it. It's like, again, they have no legit script. As you can see, they have disclaimers all over the website. It's extremely hard to get traffic and get the people like actually buying it. And like, as you can see here, it's like the payment processing, you can't use Stripe. So it's like, you can't run ads. It's highly legal. They probably have like 10% plus, they probably have like a 10% plus, processing fee. They have to, like, their ads probably, they're literally doing crypto processing. Like, this is sketch shit, guys. And this isn't what we advocate for. These websites are getting banned every day. These people are going to jail. This is like literally illegal. This is literally illegal. And what's even more crazy about it is people are now selling a course on how to do this. Like, this is literally illegal. If you do not look at these type of businesses, these businesses you do not want to run. You do not advocate for these type of businesses. We know people that are getting in trouble because of these businesses. This is the scammy, scummy, not smart. Do not recommend it. I'll spend hours talking about it. When people ask me, "Yo, telehealth, peptides, stuff like this," like, no, you want to be doing RX. Guys, RX is the future. There are a lot of peptides that you can do it as RX as well, fully compliant. You can do subscriptions on it. You can do it like how it's meant to be done. You can have a legit script. You can do it properly. You should not be doing RUL, right? And like I said, we have a whole catalog at Remo we can show you. But RUO itself is not something you guys want to do. You can do it the right way and sell a majority of the peptides, right? Now, the quick terms you'll hear me talk about constantly. This is for my more advanced guys. You probably already know these, but I want to make sure it's important. AOV is average order value, so like how much people are spending. CAC is your cost to acquire a customer, which in this industry is a patient. Your LTV, your total revenue a patient delivers over the lifetime. And then mid is your merchant account. So again, Stripe can be done for everything. And then compounding, the pharmacy that custom makes them. Now, what the patient actually experiences, right? See it from their side, why it converts, right? They answer a few questions on their phone in minutes. No clinic, no waiting room, no awkward conversation. A licensed provider reviews the prescription if appropriate. They get emails and SMS throughout this whole process, which is all done automated on the platform you use. Their medicine arrives at their door within a day, typically within a day. Refills just show up, they never think about it again, right? It's all being done for them, right? And a lot of these medicines are compounded medicines, like I said, semaglutide, tirzepatide. I'll go over a whole medicine list here in a bit. But like all different types of medicines, it's the same thing as people going into a med spa or into a doctor's office wanting to get medicine. Now, there's a lot of different ways to think about telehealth as well. You guys don't need to think about it as like super like 2D and one-sided as like, oh, medicine, ad for medicine, customer. A lot of people think about it as like brand that sells medicine or brand that sells product that happens to be a medicine, right? Like instead of thinking about like having this generic, because everybody will be getting into telehealth and try to be like these generic stores that are like like these generic stores that just sell like all these different types of medicines, like trying to be hims and hers. That's not where the success is going to be. You guys are going to be wildly successful if you sell, if you niche it down. Like Fella's is a really good example. Or like a brand that does like just NAD, and you're only focused on energy, and like you have creators that like lifestyle creators talking about it. You run ads, and it's like, oh, we all get our NAD from this store, and it's like Energy AD or something like that. Like it's just some brand name, right? Energy AD RX or whatever you want to call it, and it's like NAD, and it's like focused for NAD for like the everyday person and whatnot. That's a 9-figure brand right there. Sleep RX, people who just focus on sleep. Sleep is a huge thing. There's amazing sleep meds that we can offer through Remo and stuff that you can sell, right? You can come in there, Sleep brand, Sleep RX. Sleep is the most habit-forming thing out there. Your subscriptions will never turn because people need it to freaking sleep. Really, really good stuff there. Or if you go into it and you want to do like HRT for women, or you want to do clomiphene for men, and you want the branding to kind of be focused on like anti-TRT, like don't hop on TRT, try clomiphene first, it's better, blah, blah, blah. And you're focused on like, those like younger guys that are thinking of hopping on TRT, like, and like all your ad angles are just like, don't take TRT. And like, you really want to do that, that's clomiphene. And then you can sell clomiphene. You got to think about it from a brand perspective. And that's where you guys are going to see success. Not coming into it like, oh, I'm going to have like the next hims and hers. Like, no, like you can have like brands, like literally brands. Like if you're going to create a supplement to solve a certain problem, you rather do it in telehealth because it's drop shipped, it's better, it's subscription and all the stuff we're talking about. It actually works, all that great stuff, right? All right, let's talk about module 3, which is going to be about the market and the brands, right? How big this is. We'll talk about medicines and exactly how the winners grew, right? So the market and the brands. What this module covers, how big the market is and how fast it's moving to every category and the medicines inside it. There's always new ones popping up too. Market size for ED, hormones, and more. For the niches with a real white space left, and they all have some, but I'll kind of get into like my predictions and whatnot. The major brands and the real revenues and how those brands actually grew without examples, right? So the GLP wave alone is enormous. I know most people think about telehealth. That's like the first thing that comes to mind because that was like the big kind of, I'm gonna say like GLPs ran or GLPs walked so we could run, right? 13.8 billion, right? GLP weight loss in the drug market 2024. Project by 2023 is about like close to 3x, right? 48.8 billion, and that's just an 18.5% CARG, right? So for my people who understand numbers and markets, the TAM is there, the CARG is there. There's a large, even with just GLPs alone, right? There's a large group of people that are buying GLPs online, and there's a large group of people that are coming in every single month to buy more GLPs. So you can kind of understand how the market is just getting bigger, right? It's just getting bigger. And the patient base is still early. Roughly 5 million in 2023, 6 million in 2024, and 10 million in 2025. JP Morgan predicts about 25 million plus people by 2023. Some say 30 million plus. That is a massive market, right? Global insurance market projects nearly 200 billion by 2030. And just to be clear, you are not late. The curve is just getting started, right? So over 25 million Americans projected to be on just GLPs. I'm not even talking about the other meds that I'm more bullish on personally, but there's so many out there, right? And just GLPs alone are making so much money that it's insane. They're growing faster than ever. More people are buying it faster than ever. And like not even the curve of GLPs is so good, but the curve of people buying online versus in doctor and med spa is absolutely insane. Like the data, like the overarching data of this is just going up, up, and up. Right? Demand base underneath it all. It's not a fad. It sits on top of massive health problems. The majority of the US adults are overweight and obese. And the people who aren't are still wanting to get on this drug because they hear all these miracle stories, they see them. And if you're in America, you know about Ozempic and GLPs and semaglutide and trizepatide and GLP-1s. And if you don't, you're going to learn about it, right? Everybody knows about it. Everybody's talking about it. Most have never had real access to obesity medicine. ED, low T, hair loss are affecting millions and millions and more. And so are the niched ones as well. Toe fungus, millions of people in that. Sleep. Everyone has issues with sleep nowadays. Everyone's either reliant on melatonin. I know I am. Why do you think I'm wearing these things right now? Because I can't sleep without them. I look at my screen. So sleep is a huge one as well. HRT, people have hormone issues all the time with Red 40 and all the stuff they're doing. People need medicine. And there's so many solutions out there. Telehealth removes the friction that keeps them out. You're meeting the demand that already exists, not inventing it. You don't have to invent new problems. You just have to service ones that already exist. The money is rushing online, like I just mentioned. D2C is the fastest growing way people are getting these meds. D2C slash online slash D2C is the fastest growing GLP-1 channel. And again, all the other meds are going to follow the same trend. All the other meds are going to follow the same trend. MediV, which was that massive GLP brand, they're not even that massive. They just got it at a really good time. Which was the first billion-dollar company, single-person billion-dollar company. You can look them up, MediV, Matthew Gallagher, the whole story. Their second top SKU was something called a Quattro, which is like a liquid shot, like not like a shot, but like a liquid shot, like you drink it for ED. It was like a 4-in-1. That was their second top SKU. They were doing, I think close to $1 million a day with that SKU, right? And that shows you that everything that's happening with GLPs is going to happen with other medicines. ED, already hair loss brands, female ED, energy, like all these things there's so many medicines. I can't stress that enough, right? Telehealth skips the wait and the in-person visit. Subscription Plus reminders keep the people on the treatment, and obviously all the other stuff I talked about. Cash pay beats insurance pays for bios, right? GLP is the door, it's not the whole house, like I just mentioned. Weight loss is the biggest and most crowded category. Use it to learn the model, then expand when it's quiet. And honestly, you can still make a crap ton of money with weight loss if you have some sort of advantage. We'll talk about here in a second and how to develop your own unfair advantage, whatever it be. You're an influencer with your own platform, or you have access to influencers with your own platform, or you're good at meta ads, or you're good at like niche down to a target, like how fellas did. Like you can still make FU money with GLPs. Another good example I'll give you really quickly, just at the top of my head, is going off of the existing brand. If you guys are watching this and you have an existing e-commerce brand and you sell RX on the back end, either it be GLPs or any sort of medicine that ties into your customer basis, you will make FU money. Because you're not paying the CACs of telehealth, you're paying the CACs of whatever the hell you're selling, and in the back end, you're just reaping the benefits of telehealth. Even if you can upsell 10%, even 20% of your existing customer basis, that is recurring revenue that will not churn, right? Use it to learn the model, though. Again, I'm moving forward with the decks. The real menu spans hormones, sexual health, hair, skin, sleep, and again, GLPs are huge as well. Like, I don't want you guys to think GLPs aren't good because I'm pushing other things. I just want the market I want to push the market forward, right? I want more people to do other stuff, but at the end of the day, GLPs do make a crap ton of money. And new brands are coming out every day selling GLPs, and the smart people that are utilizing proper marketing techniques will do really well. Like, for example, Blue Chew did a really good job at influencer marketing. They kind of did the Comfort Hudson method, but at a lower scale, and they got to 9 figures in ED. I've yet to see a GLP brand do the Blue Chew marketing method. Still hasn't. They all do affiliates. They all do. They mainly all the top ones do affiliates, like OG Nutra affiliates, telehealth affiliates, and using networks. But no one has really taken the D2C creator approach with GLPs. I haven't seen a Blue Chew brand have someone has yet to do it. Right, that's a big gap right there. You do that. That's a 9-figure company, literally first year. Right. Pick an open niche and find a fraction of the competition. That's again, you can go both ways. The category maps, you have metabolic, weight loss, semaglutide, tirzepatide, oral pills, the biggest. There's so many out there, right? And again, you can do all these through Remo. Hormone and sexual, ED, HRT, T, right? Lifestyle is huge, right? It's hair, sleep, longevity. There's a crap ton of peptides you can do as well. You can dial it on one thing. You could have enclomiphene is a good one on the T side. There's ivermectin for parasites is really big. For all my people that know, those are great angles. There's so many out there. Like, you can literally do a ChatGPT search, go on Claude for a little bit, and you'll find so many opportunities, so many meds, right? And I talk about this in other e-com courses, but the best way for you guys to essentially sell or figure out what to sell, and this is more of an e-com technique, is you want to work backwards from the top angles out there. So weight loss is great, right? But what are other things that people are dealing with? What are problems? Sleep is huge, right? Don't take melatonin, take this. That's massive. Things to help with people's blood sugar. Anybody who's in the nutrition space or supplement space, you guys know that there's certain angles like gut health and parasites is a big one. Or that's ivermectin, and a lot of other medicines can do that. Like, you just gotta get your mind thinking, right? I'm not gonna sit here and do it for you, but if I was starting with a telehealth brand right now, and I wanted to figure out what to do first, I'd obviously get a GLP brand up and running, some stuff with peptides as well. That's always great. But I would 100% work with AI and try and work backwards. What are some top angles right now that are doing well in the Nutra space? Again, parasites are doing really well in the Nutra space from the people that know. And then I would go ahead and find the equivalent to that in telehealth and sell that. Right? There's so many that's just one of a trillion ways of doing it. Okay, E is a massive standalone market, 3 to 6 billion, right? In just ED alone, 320 million men affected worldwide, and 8 to 9% annual growth rate, right? Hormone therapy is quite literally huge as well. You have a 2 billion plus market cap, over 3.5 billion projected by 2033, and a very, very high LTV as well. Right? The hair loss opportunity, huge evergreen demand and almost no D2C telehealth competition. Again, hair loss is huge. I think more people should be getting into hair loss because the LTV there is great. You can sell them on other things as well too. If someone comes in for hair loss, and again, there's a lot of ways to set this up, and I'll talk about logistically what it would look like. Someone comes in for hair loss, they're getting treated, they're seeing results right away. You know that person's sticking for a good amount of time, and they have to maintain a lot of the treatments as well. Because a lot of the times you can't just like take it and say, oh, now I'm done. You have to maintain it, right? And on top of that as well, you get them in for hair loss. Hey, how's your penis working? How's your penis doing, buddy? You need ED pills? Here's the Quattro. Boom, get them on that. You know a statistic that I found out at a telehealth event not too long ago? That you reduce churn by like 60 to 70% by getting the person on 2 medicines instead of 1. Most people that churn on telehealth don't churn because the medicine doesn't work. They churn because they found another provider or they want to bounce providers or whatever it may be. Now, if you have some sort of, if you get them on 2 meds and you have good patient care, which I'll talk about here in a second, these people aren't churning. You know what I mean? The AOV on these subscriptions are extremely high. Women's health opportunity is huge as well. Women's sexual health is purely addressed by DSC. Hormone and menopause care is widely open. GLP demand among women is enormous and growing. Trust and discretion matter, which rewards a real brand. Less competition means cheaper traffic and faster ranking, as you guys know. Women's ED brand I can think of right now is Hello Cake. You guys can look them up. They're pretty big. They're a telehealth brand. I'll actually show you. Let me pull it up. So these guys do all sorts of ED. They do a lot of women's ED, like Libido Art Lift for her. They do a lot of great stuff, but these guys suck at marketing. I know their website looks good, but take it from me, guys. They're running really crap static ads. They don't have any influencers. They don't really know anything about marketing. And again, the people that are going to succeed in telehealth today are going to be the e-com operators, the influencers, the affiliates, the people who understand how to market, the people that want to create real brands and understand how to market, and they're going to run these guys over. Don't be discouraged by the fact that this looks like an established brand. If I pull up the Meta ad library, you guys will see that they have jack running on creatives, jack shit, right? Excuse my language. They don't have much running, not good stuff. They don't know what they're doing. You guys can run them over and have a 9-figure business that is a flex of a business to have. And you can be an e-com, you'll be subscriptions, all that good stuff, right? So let's get back to it. Right, longevity in peptides, NAD, peptide protocols, metabolic stacks are surging. The biohacking audience is affluent, I think that's how you pronounce that, and loyal. Educating-led marketing works because the category is new. Regulatory care matters here, so build it compliant and get in before it gets crowded. RX peptides, RX longevity. This is real money, guys. Don't create this RUO scammy stuff when you can do RX. I have so many ideas. Here's an idea for you guys right now. I told you earlier, but I really like this idea. Microdose NAD. Actually, not even microdose. Let's just do NAD and microdose ED, because there's ED pills out there that you can microdose, like people microdose Cialis and Cyafin or whatever it is. But here's an idea right now: microdose ED and NAD for natural energy for men in their 40s or 50s that are thinking of hopping on TRT, but you don't want them to hop on TRT, right? So like that's an example right now. Like, hey, if you're in your 50s and 40s and you're feeling low, NAD, right? And before people like, and a lot of people, again, a lot of people have the perception of like, oh, everybody's selling NAD. Like, what's my moat? If other people are selling it, I have no moat. That's not true. The brand you create, the marketing you have, that's your moat. You know how many fucking hoodie brands there are and brands that sell hoodies and blankets, but there's only one Comfort. Comfort is no different than all these other ones, but they got better at marketing and distribution. They define their customer. Anybody who thinks of this, you know how many GLP brands are 9 figures? They all sell the same thing. You know how many ED brands sell similar things and they're all 9 figures? Let's even go outside of telehealth. Let's look at just e-com in general. Shilajit. Any of my e-com guys, dropshippers, you know how many people made 8 figures plus off Shilajit? You know people are currently making money off Shilajit? You know how many people sold like that Yerba made slim tea? You know these things have been around for a while, like forever. Slimming teas. You know, any of my OG affiliate guys know Dr. Oz deep fakes back in the day, back in the day. People were doing that. Now people are doing the same freaking thing, but with a GLP slimming weight loss tea. Right? Before people think that like they're think so small-minded, and they keep thinking of excuses like, oh, this is not going to work because X, Y, and Z, and there's so many other brands out there. Like, you guys got to realize, like, this space is just like every other space. You can be unique, You can find a way to be different, right? That doesn't mean you have to sell a completely new thing, right? There, especially if you know how to dial in your marketing. Like again, the fellas example is so good because they came into it with a little bit of intention. They didn't come into it like with this general brand. Like, okay, yes, you can make a general brand work. Like Trim RX is a really good example. It's a really good telehealth brand you guys should look into. But the idea behind the madness here is that you're a little bit better than the average person at marketing. All right. Medicine by category, again, there's a lot more out there. You can combine them as well. Like, for example, with trizepatide, we just, on Remo, we did launch trizepatide L-carnitine because somebody wanted it and they're doing really well. That's a good one right there. But weight loss, semaglutide, trizepatide, oral GLPs, I'm not even going to pronounce that one, like corticoid, whatever. Men's ED, sildenafil, diaphanol, chewables. There's one oxytocin as well. Combinations, non-combinations. There's hundreds and hundreds there. Women's sexual, compounded ED, libido formulations, hair, finasteride, monoxide, oil combinations, custom treatments, right? Hormone T, testosterone, test. I'm just gonna say test. HRT and clomiphene, longevity, NAD, peptides, metabolic stack, skin, Trinon, custom RX, skincare. Skin is huge. Skin is huge. And guys, I want to tell you something right now. As somebody who takes a lot of the medicines that you see right now, I'm a preacher of my own craft. I take a lot of these medicines, right? You're helping people. You're actually helping people. You know, I'll give you a personal story. Let's talk about TRT. My father, literally my dad is on TRT, and it's changed his life. It's completely changed his life. He was declining in giga, and now he's become giga again. For a better lack of words, he's like all seriousness, it's changed his life. You know, he got back into the gym. He started taking his health more seriously, and then in turn, everything else in his body and his energy started to come back. He stopped taking afternoon naps. He started to work out again, clean the garage, do things. Like he started to like feel happy again. Here's another one as well. I know young guys, because a lot of the time, like us young guys have really bad T levels, right? I know young guys that hop on clomiphene and their life has completely changed for the better. Completely. ED as well. A lot of people don't realize this, but people actually struggle with ED. Like not like the average, 20 or 30-year-old that just wants to be rock hard so they can smash their girl like in a crazy gajillion different ways, right? I know. Sorry for the unprofessionalism, but you get, it's a little bit late here, but you get what I'm saying, right? ED, there's real people who struggle with erectile dysfunction that could greatly benefit from these medicines, right? That need proper care. Weight loss, we all know it, right? Semaglutide, tirzepatide. People who are actually obese, you're saving lives. I'm not even joking. Like, if somebody is, morbidly obese with a high BMI, like 30 plus, whatever it may be, and they get on trizepatide, or the oil trizepatides, the orals are great, or even semaglutide, whatever it is, and they start losing weight, which they will, because they work, these medicines work, you are literally saving them from a heart attack. You're literally saving lives. Hair as well. Men are insecure, right? Women's sexual health, both post-menopause, a lot of women have issues sexually. You're helping them there. Hormone is huge. Longevity is very important. With longevity, like NAD, peptides, getting people on like proper stacks can like, get them back like feeling humans again, right? Especially with skincare, people get insecure. You're helping people get out of the house because they're not insecure anymore. Like you're giving these people life again. Like I want you guys to realize the world we live in, every single day, there are new things that hurt people's health. Whether it be the red 40, the Doritos they eat, or the seed oils, and we all know about all this stuff. Like people are becoming more dependent on medicines. People need medicines, right? And by being in telehealth, to my smart entrepreneurs out there that actually want to find something outside of money to be motivated by, you are helping people. Like you are literally helping people. You're saving lives, especially if you're doing weight loss, right? Like this stuff is really important, right? The GLP menu in detail, right? So you have injectable semaglutide, injectable tirzepatide. These are compounded medicines. Oral semaglutide. This one I'm not going to pronounce. Compounded options. You have like oral trizepatide L-carnitine. You can combine them. I know people did B12 and semaglutide as well. There's a lot of combinations that you can open up as well. the ED and men's menu, right? Cyaphil, Triaphil, the generics. A good brand that does generics is called Friday Plans. They do generic Viagra and Cialis, but they also do a membership, like a VIP club for my guys that know, they do a VIP club, and that's where they make a lot of their money. So they sell the Viagra at cost, and then they do a VIP club where they make a lot of their money, and they're a 9-figure plus brand. One thing I will mention as well is a lot of people actually do VIP clubs and membership clubs on their telehealth, right? Because with telehealth, like I mentioned, you own the doctor-patient relationship. There's a brand called Mochi that they sell the membership separately, and it comes with every order. So they're making money from a digital membership. Look, right? So we have Mochi right here, if you guys can see them. Again, a GLP brand, what they did differently is and they have other stuff as well, right? Again, like look at this brightening spot treatment. Like that's specific, and it's something I didn't mention. There's so many things out there, right? You have a legit script. Where's the legit script? Oh, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. You should have it somewhere. It's weird it's not showing on this landing page. But they do a membership. The hair and skin menu, again, there's a lot out there. And again, this is in their daily routine and they see results right away, so they will not cancel. Now, how to choose your niche. Again, like there's different ways to go about this. And this is where you guys have to kind of be your own business people. Like I can't sit here and tell you what to do. I just want to show you guys the opportunity. But again, how I would do it, kind of ignore this right here. How I would do it is, one, I would just try to identify a problem in a market, find a medicine in that market, and then just go all in on that. And just do different types of distributions, whatever that be. Something as simple as running meta ads, something as simple as doing influencers, something as simple as doing native ads, Google, whatever it may be. We'll talk about running ads and how to set up your ads and all that later on. But I would obviously work backwards in the problem because people are buying it from a problem. And I can tell you right now in the telehealth space, especially right now, because more people are coming in every single day buying online telehealth. But for a lot of the existing customer bases right now, they're very what we call warm shoppers. So they know their problem exists. They know there's medicines out there. Maybe they're already on a medicine. Maybe they're looking for another provider. Maybe they're on a natural solution that doesn't fucking work. They are looking for help, right? So I understand that, right? And if I, again, was starting a brand, I would be like, okay, cool. Let me figure out the problems that people are having right now. And I would honestly work backwards in the supplement and nutri space to see like, okay, low T, libido, energy, weight loss. And notice how there's always, like I already kind of mentioned some of these. I'd find medicine, I would look at brands, and then I would I'll launch. And again, like the subscriptions, I'll be very dialed in with my numbers. Subscriptions will make me the money back, right? Most of what you sell is non-controlled. Controlled substances, okay, I already talked about this as well. But most of the easiest stuff, the quickest way to get launched is going to be non-controlled. So hair, skin, ED, anti-fungus, women's health, longevity, fewer headaches, faster approval, and still fully recurring. The non-controlled is, there's a lot of stuff here. Again, there's even more stuff. Toe fungus is huge as well. A lot of people think that's stupid, but don't get me wrong. For my really good direct response marketers out there, you guys know that toe fungus is huge. It's a huge angle. Hair loss and depth, the cleanest beginner niche in the whole space. And by the way, too, like you guys can combo this as well. Like if you're an influencer watching this, and let's say you want to do like let's say your name is Ashley, the Ashley stack, and it's like a ED, this, that, or not ED, sorry. It's gonna be like something for your skin, hair, and then like nails, or like skin, hair, and like a little bit of oral trizepatide, or whatever it is. You can have the Ashley stack, have an intake form for that, and sell it as like a bundle. And you just get like 100 people on that. It's 100 people paying a subscription every month. And you do the math, like these subscriptions aren't cheap. Like people will pay $400 or $500 a month for that stack. You know what I mean? Women's sexual health and libido. Again, this is a very, very good direction. And there's a lot of people that this could help. Anti-fungus and toenail fungus is huge as well. This is for my more people who run ads and are in the affiliate space. You guys know skin and dermatology is huge. A lot of people don't realize, but I think this is one of my favorite spaces. I think like if I had to kind of rank my personal thought process on where telehealth is right now, it's evolving every day. But at the top, you have the weight loss, and you have male ED, and then you have skin and hair. I think it's huge. Everyday cash pay care. Boring conditions have an enormous value. This was the slide I was waiting to get to. You guys can work backwards from these problems and sell these medications, even though it might not feel like there's a huge TAM. There is. These are all things that can get to $1 million+ a month very quickly, right? If you work backwards, UTI, yeast infections, sinus and ear infections, allergy, reflux, pink eye, cold sores, smoking cessations and routine refills, fast text visits. I'm sorry, I'm just reading that out. But again, very specific problems you can work backwards from. Hemorrhoids is another one. People will talk about. I know this stuff isn't fun to talk about or isn't sexy, but sexy things don't make a crap ton of money, right? Well, they do. They can. GLPs and ED kind of. But GLPs is very, very sexy. Hair loss, peptides, everyone sexy. But what about UTIs? What about yeast infections? What about sinus and ear infection? What about allergy, reflux? Because these things that people go into med spas for, into the clinic for, you can enter that market from a telehealth perspective and just print money. You literally print money. If you're half decent at marketing and you decided to go all in on UTIs, you will literally make millions. I'm not even joking. You will literally make millions. And to think that you have to be the next Hims and Hers, like the people that understand that the game that is happening in telehealth right now is very similar to the game that happened in dropshipping, where you had these large general stores that made a bunch of money, and then the people that actually came in and started niching down to specific products ended up taking over. That's what's happening right now. Anti-parasites and niche derm, right? Ivermectin for parasites, topical ivermectin for rosqueta, permethrin. I'm pronouncing these wrong. I'm dyslexic, by the way, so please give me a break. Niche but real, recurring, and underserved. And again, these people will not churn because you're solving a real problem for them. You're not creating some issue like some affiliate supplement that it's a 30-minute VSL that creates the issue out of thin air, and then from there sells them on a supplement. These people are going to be churning, right? If you can create a real issue, it's huge. It's huge. Longevity and AD and peptides, huge. Brands like Blow, Joe, Maximus are all built on this. Affluent, committed, education-driven buyers. And again, build it compliantly so you can exit. Telehealth is amazing as exits, and I'll get into that in other modules. We're talking 5 to 7x. Again, Hims and Hers is a really big example. And I actually don't want to look at Hims and Hers too much, but again, they crawled so brands like ManyV can walk, so guys like us can run, right? Public market proof that this model is enormous. Multi-sector DTC telehealth, ED, skin, weight. By 2025, revenue was about $2.3 billion, up 60% year over year. And then, by the way, they're not really good at marketing. I know people are going to think I'm stupid for saying that, but when you're a huge company and you're funded, you don't really have to be amazing at marketing. You just have to acquire. 2.5+ million subscribers, roughly 90% recurring revenue. Around 82% of users stay past 3 months, and public by 2030 target about $6.5 billion in revenue. How Hims and Hers grew, right? They started with one reg, generic sildenafil for men. They won on brand plus retention direct response creative. They cross-sold in the hair and skin and weight loss, realized they got a majority of their patients on other things, right? That's a big thing. A lot of people neglect that. But there's something beautiful that happens in business when you sell a product that works, right? For some odd reason, the people stick around. You're able to sell them more stuff. They compound into lifetime customers. You start building a recurring base that compounds and snowballs. And next thing you know, you have a behemoth of a business, right? A huge business. So again, when you cross-sold in the hair, skin, and weight loss, they played the playbook properly and they timed it pretty good. And I'd argue the timing now is even better because more people are getting onto the wave, but into the wave on the patient side, not onto the competitive side. But they rode the GLP wave and they used it to expand, and now they're expanding into labs, longevity, peptides, right? Rose, another great example. They're huge. Roe is playing a different game, to be honest. It's harder to look at these guys, but it just goes to show that you can become a whale in this industry. Blue Chew is one of my favorite examples. They are very, very, very good at marketing. And if you took their same playbook and put it into even GLPs, I think there's a lot of money to be made. MediV, again, everybody knows about the MediV guys. They're huge. First year they did a 400 million, became a $1 billion company, absolutely huge. LifeMD is another one. Public D2C, and these are the big public guys. But I want you guys to look into the smaller guys as well. There's a lot out there. Newer GLP brands, Hers, which is similar to Hims and Hers, LifeRx, Mochi Health, Henry Meds, TrimRx, Calibrates, Mochi, Henry, TrimRx, Free Pouches, Clinical Depth, Henry Dead Simple Questionnaire, TrimRx. They all try to pick their own wedge a little bit. That's what I was mentioning earlier. When you pick a wedge, like Fellows is my favorite example, you start to realize that you hit your market a lot better. Legacy players are scrambling in. Weight Watchers, a new move to GLP telehealth. So again, existing business owners that either have, their own, you have your own e-commerce brand, you have your own offers, you have your own list, you have your own platform being like your own personal brand. You can utilize this because big guys are doing it as well because there's money in it. No frill startups like SkinnyRx and Sprout keep appearing. Even the people, everyone sees revenue growing. I'm gonna pronounce that wrong. That validates the model. It doesn't just close the door. And the open lanes are niches that they're ignoring, right? And again, I still think that GLPs is a lot of money to be made, 100%. I see new offers every day pop up at scale, but there's a lot of other things out there as well, and it's up to you guys to pick what you want to do. I just think you get in there, you can do GLPs, scale to the moon, and there's a bunch of other things as well that you guys can do. So don't just think that that's it. The growth pattern they all share is they enter through a wedge and they dominate it. They port a direct response creative in a warm funnel. They layer influences and affiliates to lower the blended CAC. Use subscriptions and life cycle to compound their LTV. Expand the menu once the engine clearly works, right? Because once you get a patient in, you can have systems on the back end to sell them even more stuff, right? What I will be very clear about is, if somebody comes in for GLPs, there's a very good chance, and you have to, and I'll talk a little bit about this throughout the program. There's a really good chance for you to be able to sell the majority of different things. You just need to know how to do it, right? And transparently, a lot of people don't know how to combine these different marketing methods. They're either really good at direct response and getting affiliates. They're either good at running their own traffic and getting a warm funnel going. They're either good at meta ads, but they don't know how to do influencers. Like there's a bunch of different ways to acquire customers. And if you're at the forefront and you're unique with your marketing, you will see success. I'll tell you something right now. This is really cool. TikTok just started to allow GLP brands, compounded GLP brands, semaglutide, tirzepatide, like brands like MediV, TrimRx, and whatnot. They started advertising on TikTok. It just opened it up. It's very recent, right? This is about less than a month ago. So boom, new distribution channel unlocked, right? Raise of hand. Who here has run TikTok ads? I was there when TikTok ads first came out. I saw so many people literally spawn in overnight. 8-figure businesses, even close to 9-figure businesses because of TikTok ads. I saw it with my own eyes, right? Whoever the people that get ED, telehealth does really well on TikTok. People are doing a lot of, the GLP brands are now getting on there as well. They're seeing crazy low CACs, customer acquisition costs, crazy low CPAs. They're acquiring patients like this. They're making a lot of money. New distribution channels are coming out every day. We're working on getting a deal with AppLovin and hopefully getting people to be able to run GLPs on AppLovin because that'll be huge. Obviously, we'll make sure the remote people get priority to that. But at the end of the day, there is a lot of new distribution channels coming out. And again, GLP brands are everywhere. Men's and ED brands are popping up. Hormone and TRT are popping up as well. I don't want you guys to think that, I can't come in and compete. The market's there. Come in, be unique, scale. It's not over. There's two groups of people that are going to see this right now. One group is going to be like, this is not a good idea. There's already people selling. I'm not going to compete. And there's going to be another group that looks at the core components of this industry and think that this is just genius, and they get into it. They start grinding it, either working with influencers, getting their meta ads going, being unique, and next thing they know, they have a 9-figure business, right? The big idea, there are hundreds of these brands now. GLP alone has done dozens of serious players. ED, hair, hormones within niches outside of GLP are still surprisingly thin. That's one thing that surprised me as well. Not many people are doing UTIs or pink eye or this and rashes or whatever it is. They're very unique problems that still need solving, and that's how I would approach it technically. But again, there's a million different ways to get to a million. Pick a lane with real demand and a few real brands, or you can come into a more of a competitive market like GLPs and be a little bit unique and have unique distribution. Like for example, here's a good one: come in Spanish market only or Arabic market only. Like so many Hispanics in the USA take GLPs, right? You come in with a Spanish only approach, Spanish only ads. Boom, there you go. That's a unique way of going about it. Here's an example of like a unique GLP ad. It's a middle funnel ad. And I'll go through more examples in the next module, so I won't waste too much time on this one. But this is I talk about angles in module 6, right? So I won't get too much into that right now. Funnels worth studying tonight. Again, TrimRx, Blue Chew, Refills, Hims, Row, and RexMD are good ones. Mochi is a good one as well, too. I was looking. All right, so next we're going to talk about here, module 4, why the timing is now. We'll get right into it. So why now? Again, the FDA is approving new meds at record speed. Pipeline of meds is right behind them. MediV story broken all the way down. Brands are piling left and right. E-commerce brands are adding for LTV. The compounding shakeout favors that are passed, right? So three forces are converging at the same time, right? The first one, this is a big idea, right? The first one is supply. New meds and pharmacies are coming out online fast. Demand, tens of millions of new patients every year. Distribution, the infrastructure launch now exists off the shelf. And then last, when supply demands and distribution line goes up, operators win, right? So the FDA is moving very fast, like I mentioned. New marketable products are landing on a steady cadence, or semaglutide. These ones, again, I don't want to pronounce them wrong. Small, there's new oral GLPs coming out all the time. There's a lot of talks of like Retta becoming an RX supplement, a completely RX, like trizempatide, because Eli Lilly got it. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background. I'll make my prediction here as well. Fast tracked under FDA's Natural Priority Voucher Program. Each approved is a new product that you can build a brand on top of. And this is just for the new stuff. There's a lot of current stuff that you guys can definitely service as well, just because the market is now moving from going into person to buying online, just like we saw with normal retail. But even the new stuff and even newer stuff is crossing the finish line, right? Oral pills are huge, right? Even when it comes to oral trizempatide, which is a very popular client we see people selling on Remo, very popular medicine that people are selling on Remo because the product works really well and people don't have to inject themselves, and it still works very well, right? The pipeline behind it is straggling. Up to 60 more GLP-1s could reach the US by 2026 or 2029. New combinations and long-lasting injections are coming. Again, trizepatide and L-carnitine is really popular. Semaglutide mixed with other stuff is really popular. I've seen B12 and GLP mixes as well. They're very popular. There's always new stuff coming. And with that comes lower customer acquisition costs, more sticky retention on the patient, more stuff to upsell them on the back end. Like the space is just getting bigger, and I hope this helps you guys come up with some ideas, turning some ideas, right? Indication expanding into sleep and apnea and hypertension is huge. Every new approval is a brand waiting to be built, right? The market keeps getting bigger. More meds means more conditions, more patients, more demand. GLP drugs are being studied well beyond weight loss, sleep, apnea, hypertension, even addiction indications. Each new use case pulls in patient population. The total market expands every time till a trial reads out. You're entering a new category that's growing on its own edges. It's literally, think about this thing. It's like expanding in real time, right? You guys are getting in at the right time. The cultural flip 3 years ago, again, this was taboo. Now it's dinner table talk. GLPs went mainstream and pulled the stigma out of it. Celebrities and creators made it normal to talk about. Telehealth itself is default, not novelty, and normalization is a rocket fuel for direct response marketing. And if you guys know, you sell people, like a lot of people don't realize this. When you sell something that people already have in the back of their head and you use what we call gradualization, you end up you end up getting a more profitable purchase, a very low customer acquisition cost, right? And I'll get into the marketing in the next couple of modules, because this module isn't about the marketing, but I want you guys to kind of realize that you're not selling like cold audience. These are people that understand and are in the market and are easier to sell to. The first near sole billion-dollar company is telehealth. Right, so this was the Matthew Gallagher MediV case study I was talking about before. Matthew Gallagher built MediV as a GLP-1 telehealth funnel, roughly $20K in 2 months to launch using AI end-to-end. 401 in year one revenue, so 401 million in year one revenue, reportedly on the pace to do $1.8 billion. He outsourced to doctors and the pharmacy, the exact model that we're talking about, using a platform like Remo. How MediV was actually built, look at the stack, none of it is out of reach. Outsource doctors and pharmacies telehealth partner. Again, Remo takes care of that. Use AI for code, creative, and customer service. Ran a lean contractors instead of big payroll. They had a lot of affiliates. Poured everything into demand and funnel. Treated it like a marketing business because it is one. He just did exactly what I said. If you dialed it on distribution, had a lot of affiliates, a lot of marketing stuff going on, and they scaled to 400 million in their first year and $1 billion in their second. What business do you know that uses I'll put it like this. What business do you know that has scaled that fast with that little employees? I'll wait. I'm big into lucrative industries. A lot of my friends own online casinos, and a lot of people know online casinos are a very lucrative industry. A lot of my friends own online casinos and make millions a year. A lot of my friends own large supplement brands and make millions a year. A lot of my friends own info product communities and courses and growth operating and make millions a year. A lot of my friends own in-person businesses and make millions a year. A lot of my friends own all types. I know people in all types of industries, right? Because again, I've been in entrepreneurship and e-commerce for years now. I can tell you that I've never ever seen in my years, again, maybe I haven't been around for long enough, but I have never seen a business grow as fast as some of these telehealth brands. MediV was just one of them. There were many others that I got the fortune to see the back end of that have scaled to 9 figures a year, literally within their first year, because of telehealth. And the crazy thing about the MediV story was everybody was talking about like, oh my God, these guys became a billion-dollar company because of AI. But they weren't able to explain how they used AI. AI was just a scratch on the surface. Who doesn't use Claude for landing pages now? Who doesn't use ChatGPT to come up with copy now? Everybody uses AI. What made them unique was not AI. They were not AI experts. What made them unique was telehealth. Was the fact that telehealth is high AOV, little churn, good LTV. It's booming. It's emerging. They just did telehealth. They treated it seriously. They used AI like every other founder uses AI. That wasn't what made them special. It was that fact that they did telehealth. What you can take from MediV, the single most important slide in this module: a focused operator can reach scale very fast. You don't need to own pharmacies or employ doctors. Demand is strong enough that distribution and funnel wins. The infrastructure to do this right now is already available to you. The door is open for operators, not just incumbents, incubators, right? Whatever that means. Sorry. A clear-eyed view of it, right? So I'm not going to oversell you a headline. Revenue is not profit. Again, these guys are not doing $1 billion profit a year. That would be crazy, but it's definitely possible. Outsourced model carries zero compliance responsibility. MediV did go a little bit aggressive. His timing caught the GLP wave at a very steep point. The lesson isn't a get-rich-quick point I'm trying to make here. The lesson I'm trying to make here is that it's possible now, right? If you build it right, the upside is there and it's very real. Everyone is still piling in. When the smart money rushes the category, pay attention. Hims and Rose are both pushing hard into weight loss. Dozens of GLP brands launched in the last 18 months. Even Weight Watchers and Noom pivoted in. Crowding is concentrated in GLPs, but not the other niches. And again, you can still succeed in GLPs. The open lane is still wide open. E-commerce brands are bolting in too. The savviest operators use it to lift their LTV on day one, like I was mentioning before. Add telehealth lines to existing to see brand and watch the LTV skyrocket. Same audience, much higher AOV, and much higher recurring revenue. One-time supplement buyers become a subscriber, and they become a patient. Patients and customers are two different things, right? Because patients last way longer. Your existing list and traffic becomes a telehealth funnel. You already run e-com and closer than you think. I know people that will, say, I literally know people that are getting into telehealth right now that are saying, F all of this brand marketing, all this stuff. What I'm going to do is I have these lists. I have access to these email and SMS and phone number lists from different weight loss info offers I've run and any of this stuff. I'm just going to get these lists, and I'm going to sell. I'm going to get my dialers. I'm going to get like dialers to just sell semaglutide over the phone and whatnot, and sell weight loss over the phone using Remo, right? Like I really know people that are doing this and doing pretty goddamn well, right? So again, there's a lot of ways to get to a million. There's a million ways to get to a million, right? Already have a brand, Bull RX on the back end, right? If you sell supplements, fitness, or wellness, you have an audience. There's a big gap for my people who are selling online transformations right now, which is like any sort of fitness. If you're doing fitness coaching and you're not, unless you're like the natty side, which again, I respect that, completely respect that. But if you're, doing fitness coaching and you're trying to maximize profit, you should be selling RX in the back end. You should not be doing RUO. I know guys have tempted with RUO. That is not smart because that's not subscription and you don't make as much money. Some of the top people I know in telehealth are influencers. There are influencers who are selling RX, right? Because it's compliant. Your ads won't get taken down. Your posts won't get taken down. Try adding a research-only peptide site in your IG bio and TikTok bios and see what happens. See what happens. You're gonna get banned, dude. It's not allowed. It's illegal. I know a guy who went to jail 5 years because of RUO. So before you spin up an RUO site for weight loss, think twice, okay? Peptides and all this stuff can be RX, like I mentioned. You can sell RX weight loss as an influencer and make more money from that than your program or whatever you're doing. You'll make way more money than that, I promise you, right? Because people will stay on. People will stay on and they have a reason to buy because they see results right away. And you can add on your coaching and whatnot on top of that as an upsell or whatever you want to do. How to stack the RX line on the back end. Keep your existing brand and audience exactly how they are. Add a compliant intake and RX offer behind the scenes. Route your buyers to enlist them into a telehealth funnel. One-time supplement buyer becomes a monthly subscriber. Your CAC is already paid, so the margin is drastically better. Unique selling point this unlocks. You can say things pure GLP startups can't. Existing community that already trust you. Bundle, stack supplements or real prescription. A story and a face, not just a faceless GLP funnel. Built-in social proof from your current customers. Cross-sell across products you already sell them. Now, who this works best for, some businesses are sitting on the gold mine and they don't know it. Supplement and Nutra brands. This was my exact path that I was talking about. Gym, coaches, and fitness creators with the following. Wellness and beauty brands with a loyal list. Anyone with traffic and audience or email list. If that's you, you're closer to a cold start operator and you can hop on a platform like Remo tomorrow and literally build an 8-figure business very quickly. Ad competition is rising, like I just mentioned. I'm not going to sit here and create this facade or lie to you guys. I'm being transparent. Rising CPMs in crowded niches. It's just how it goes. This is how any industry goes. I don't have a magic wand. I can't make that go away. The brands and early built audiences before it got expensive. You can verify this trend yourself in the Meta Ads Library. Look at some of the brands I showed you. Get in while a niche is still under advertised, or if you want to get into weight loss, be unique so you can scale. The compounding shakeout is your opening, right? Volatility scares amateurs and rewards prepared. The FDA is tightening on compounding GLP rules to 25 to 26. All right, follow the money. Acquisitions and funding tell you where this business is headed. Hims move to acquire international players to expand reach. Capital flowing into the category despite the noise. Manufacturers are citing telehealth distribution channels. Guys, literally Stripe is emailing telehealth brands to get them on. Right? Like before you think payment processing and all this stuff is complicated for it, like Stripe is literally emailing people. When we found out about that, when I heard about that, I jumped out of my chair, right? Because it has never been clearer. Now this is the time, and the timing is the most important part of the game. The patient curve is early and still climbing. Infrastructure lets you launch in days, not quarters. Niches outside of GLPs are barely touched. Move now and you will own the story in your category, right? What is up, guys? So we are going to be on module 5 here, going into compliance and the moving parts. So let's get this going. All right. So, I think my camera kind of broke here, but just bear with me. I hope you guys can still hear me. This is one of the most important parts about the business. Now, before I even get into this, I will be very clear that it might, a lot of the stuff is already done for you, right? Assuming you use Remo, but I do want to make it I do want you guys to understand, right? Because at the end of the day, this is free education, and my goal here is to make you guys as knowledgeable as possible, right? So the big idea here is there's many parts and compliance runs that happen in this business, right? It's seven systems that have to connect, not just one thing. There's honestly more than seven, but we'll just keep it simple at seven for now. Each part has its own requirements and ways to fail. Compliance is the thread running through every piece, and you get one of them wrong and the whole machine stalls or freezes, right? So the anatomy of a telehealth business, if we look at it, right, no pun intended, anatomy, telehealth, medicine, haha, right? What this module covers, first one is brand site intake, second one is provider and 50-state licensing, third one is pharmacy and e-prescribing, fourth one is payments and high-risk processing, right? Fifth one is legit script and ad compliance, and the sixth one is HIPAA and patient data, right? So the full stack in order, and by the way, throughout this whole thing, I'll be giving you guys tips and tricks, and then also agency. So if you're existing telehealth business owner, and let's say you're like, you already have your own solution, you're doing your own thing, there are agencies and stuff I can definitely help refer you to and whatnot. So no worries. Let's keep going. Just got a weird message. All right. Brand, site, and intake. What you need to just take an order, right? A branded storefront on domain you order, compliant, clinical intake, right? So your quiz, it's not just a quiz funnel. They're also like the medical questions in there have to be compliant and backed by like an actual doctor, right? Clear, non-misleading claims and the right disclaimers. Telehealth consents and terms in place. Analytic and pixel wired in for marketing. That's a little basic, right? So that stuff is basic. Let's go over the legit script like I talked about before. I'll give you a little rundown what legit script is. So legit script is actually a Visa owned company, right? Legit script is owned by Visa, and they essentially are like the glue in the telehealth industry. You will never see a telehealth website without a legit script. You need a legit script for everything, right? It's a certification for healthcare advertisers. You need it to run Google Meta ads. It verifies you to operate legitimately, and the gate to compliant paid traffic and even processing as well, right? Why people fail it is they skip and get ads disapproved, incomplete documentation, misleading claims, and they start the process too late. And I'll tell you right now, as somebody who's been in telehealth space for a while, it is very, very hard to get a legit script on your own. Unless you're going through a platform that buys them in bulk and has basically a relationship with legit script, it is very hard to get on legit script. It takes, I've known people that have, it is very hard to tell you the exact amount of time it takes, but I've known people that it has literally taken a year to get their legit script, right? They go through the platform. They have paid basically double of what the expedited, quote unquote expedited, they have paid double of what people pay on it through Remo, and it's literally taken a year. Now, on Remo, we've seen people get a legit script literally within 7 to 14 days, around there. Again, it's out of our hands, but we do have very good relationships. We're actually on the Legit Script website. If you go there and check it, you'll see that we're on there. But yeah, like this is kind of like one of those things, you need it in order for this industry to work. Now, the Legit Script process, you like I said, you apply and all this stuff. You can apply yourself. And that's, I'm not going to shy away from that. People can do that. But again, it takes a very long process. It costs way more, and it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee either way, but with the Remo, like we basically do it for you, and we have a way higher chance of getting approved. Now, providers and 50-state licensing, you can't realistically do all 50 states yourself. This is why you need to plug into a network, like I was explaining before. So like I said, in telehealth, there has to be a provider network, right? And if you were to build this network on your own, typically what it would look like is you would have to essentially find a head physician. You would have to get a telehealth lawyer. You'd have to spend at least 130 plus grand plus, like that's just to start, on getting all the licenses. Some licenses for certain states have a lot of compliance and take a long time. Like for example, New York is very hard to get. You would have to have ways to get it, right? There's a lot of ways to do it. And you would have to have physicians under your head practitioner. You would have to have NPs and PAs. You would have to have a setup. You would have to actually set up a legal structure with the doctor. So you're actually paying them per consult, unless if you do salary, it's technically illegal. There's ways behind, there's like reasons for it. There's a lot that goes behind it. It would take you realistically like close to 8 months. and hundreds of thousands of dollars and a lot of headache, especially for getting certain states. Or you could just use Remo, right? It could break a lot as well if you were to build it on your own. Selling state to state with no licensed provider is extremely illegal. You can go to jail. And there's a lot of workflows and stuff in the back end that have to be done properly. Like this side of the business is very, very annoying, and it took us a long time to set up. But it's what makes us so unique is because we actually took the time to build it. And not only did we build it, but we built it around direct response and D2C because we know like the type of care and things that people need in order to not choke. Clinical side done right, real care protects patients in your business. Intake has to capture providers need to prescribe safely. Async review must still be a genuine clinical review. Like I mentioned before, async is a lot easier. It's a lot quicker, but it doesn't mean it's just, automatic bang, 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 bang. There still is a doctor at the other end that has his and hers license on the line if they approve the wrong person. So there's definitely a lot of stress that goes on the back end that we don't want people to have to deal with. That's why we built Remo, but at the end of the day, it's still part of the whole process. Edge case needs a path to escalate, not just to approve, because sometimes async can become sync, or there could be a doctor that reaches out to the patient to confirm some details before prescribing them. Good clinical practice lowers your regulatory risk and also reduces refunds and chargebacks, which again is important to you since you don't want to have to deal with that. Pharmacy fulfillment. Flexibility here is survival. Single source is a single point of failure. What you need: real pharmacy relationships, e-prescribing from provider to pharmacy, reliable and fast shipping, rebill synced to ship days. How it breaks: one pharmacy, no backup, slow, unreliable fulfillment, molecule status changes and where you're stuck, cold chain of quality failures. So just to kind of break this down in English to you guys, this part of the business is a huge make or break for a lot of people, right? Like, first of all, so first of all, there's a reason why platforms like us exist. And that's a big reason for that is because we can arbitrage that volume to these pharmacies to get better rates, better fulfillment, and just a better overall experience for our clients, right? If we have multiple people that sell, let's say GLPs, NED and whatnot, and on top of that as well, we have clients that come in that want specific and specialized things, right? Like we have a lot of leverage with these pharmacies to get better rates, to get better fulfillment, and to get actually a better process, right? A lot of people don't realize, but and trust me, I've gone down the scrappy road myself in telehealth. I know how it's like going directly to a pharmacy and trying to get them to fulfill you for you, trying to get them to answer your goddamn emails, trying to get them to actually, move forward. And then the headache of what happens if they stop fulfilling, because pharmacies, just like 3PLs, have fulfillment issues and all this stuff. It's a headache, and it's a headache you do not want to deal with. When one pharmacy doesn't go through, it's not just like you can find a backup. Just like you have, just like in 3PLs, where like if one of your 3PLs or supplement factories goes down, you find another one. These are real prescriptions that have to be transferred over through pharmatech to another pharmacy. The prescriptions have to be carried over, so it's not as simple as just switching it. There's a lot of back end headache that goes into it. So we've built a multi-pharma approach to all our clients, especially our top clients, to where you're always insured. Like if some shit happens with the pharmacy, we have other pharmacies that, can help fill in where stuff goes wrong. And we have specific employees and whatnot that basically are on top of all the pharmacies, making sure that stuff is getting shipped out on time. We'll go in person and check stocks and do all this stuff. We're very, very intimate with that. But a big part of that is when you work with someone who's arbitraging value to help you have better rates, better shipping times, better experience, it allows you to kind of skip right to that A+ fulfillment and customer experience without having to build up, if that makes sense. 503A versus 503. 503A is patient specific. 503 is outsourcing facilities, right? 503 is kind of what most people do. Payment and high risk processing, right? So I'll talk about mids here in a second. This is a little bit, I'll actually kind of will go off script here, or don't worry too much about what you see on the screen. Right now, like I mentioned before, in telehealth, you can process on Stripe. Stripe loves telehealth businesses. We have a very good relationship with Stripe, with Remo. We have a Stripe Connect integration with them, similar to how Shopify payments exist, like Shop Pay and all that stuff. We have the same thing and the same setup for Remo Pay that has a very, very good conversion rates, one of the highest converting checkouts in telehealth. we did take the Shopify payments approach, right? Transparently, everybody knows about Shop Pay. Anybody who's done e-commerce, you guys know that Shopify payments is like a make or break. And we're building and have built the same thing at Remo with Remo Pay that works with Stripe. But we've also built out something that has made us way better than Shopify payments, and that is a mid-duning and mid-retries on the back end. So unlike Shopify, where you can only use Shopify payments, at Remo, we'll get you set up on Stripe with Remo Pay and everything, so you have high conversion rates. But we also will connect you with other processors, specifically high-risk payment processors, either like Lucra or Quantum or any of these guys that we have. And we can essentially get your a backup mid set up to where you can have what we call mid-duning. For my OG guys, you know what this means. This is like when you have, because it's a subscription business, sometimes you have payment failures and a subscription doesn't go through. You retry the subscription on another mid, being the Lucra mid or the Quantum mid or whatever, other payment processor we use. So we've built it to where you have the best of the best when it comes to the approvals and being able to use Stripe, but you also have the security and ability to recover payments and whatnot using other mids. And obviously, if anything happens to any of the mids, if you get a reserve, if a mid goes down, the subscriptions and the customer tokens are hosted on the platform. So you can easily switch in a new mid and you won't have to worry about losing your subs. Similar to how on Shopify, everybody knows with Shopify payments, if you have MRR and you have subscribers and you lose your payments account, you say goodbye to all your MRR and subscribers. That will never happen on Remo. How to survive payments? Again, like I just mentioned, we have routing and all that stuff. HIPAA and patient data. We're a HIPAA-enabled platform. So the storage, the handling, we're secure. We're not sloppy. I'm not going to point out and call out any other platforms out there. You guys do your own research, but a lot of other platforms in the space are sloppy. We have a dedicated cybersecurity sector at our company, and we're very, very dialed in when it comes to our processes and whatnot. So we are not sloppy whatsoever. Our focus is to make sure the patient data is secure and nothing goes wrong there. So we are very, very secure. The HIPAA, the hidden hard part is the wiring, right? So any one piece is transparently doable. I have no doubt that any people watching this right now, you guys are smart entrepreneurs. You guys are, watching this video, so you understand, business to some extent. Any single part is not hard, but roping it together is where the real magic comes into play, right? Intake to provider, to pharmacy, to payments, the life cycle. Every handoff is a piece that can break or leak money, and then there's tech that ropes it all together. Each vendor relationship takes weeks to negotiate. Compliance has to hold across the entire chain. Built alone, this is 6+ months, and well over 6 figures. It'd be close to 7 figures, to be honest with you guys. Now, the big idea here is we built the day something break. The big idea here is build for the day something breaks, because it will. Every brand that survives a shakeout has a plan for failure. Mid freezes, pharmacy pauses, ad account bans, rules change, right? The question isn't whatever happens, it is what they do that day. The single point of failure are only the real risk you control. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that every part of the step, you need some sort of backup, which is already built within Remo, right? So when the payment processor freezes you, this doesn't really happen in telehealth, to be honest, but you always want to be prepared. Backup mids, like I mentioned, right? When your ad account gets banned, and this is good because I can get into ad accounts right now. You have backups. You pivot spend to a backup account. What we recommend to people when they get set up on telehealth is, depending on which agency you use, or you can do this on your own MetaBM, we recommend different agencies. We have very good partnerships with the guys over at Pinnacle, with the guys at Ad Revival. If you need any of these agency guys, you just let me know. I can connect you to them. If you DM me on Instagram, I respond to basically all my DMs. You want to definitely have a backup agency ad account that's already legit script approved, because when you get an agency ad account, you basically plug in your legit script to it to get it approved, and you can essentially have that backup going, right? When the pharmacy disrupts, you can switch routing within hours, and we have systems already built out for this. If it happens, right? It's all being prepared for, right? State-specific compliance is really important, right? So compliance in California is a little bit different than New York. I told you New York is a little bit tricky, but there's ways around it. Texas as well. Like they all have they all have separate kind of issues. Any provider network you work with, assuming you're with Remo, obviously this is all handled. But you have to realize that every state is its own little battle, right? It's not as simple as it's a all fits one solution. Should you have a medical director, right? This is something that after a large scale is really important. Once you guys get to 300, 400, 500K a month, you can, have a medical director to help you. We have medical directors at Remo, so you get that right off the bat. But, someone to help with this is definitely important. Right, you always want to be looking at MedWatch. I personally, my X is personally optimized for like peptides, RX, MedWatch. Even Trump launched the RX brand the other day. I got that on my feed. So it's crazy. But yeah, like always be on top of your stuff here. I always recommend MedWatch is very important. Now, like I just mentioned, this part of the module might feel like a little bit of a sale, and I apologize for that, but I just want to be transparent and just so you guys know, Remo does handle every single part of this from storefront, intake, provider, pharmacy, payments, compliance, pre-wired, and it's not just that side of things. It's also analytics. It's also the ability to view your storefront, view everything. It's literally like the Shopify of telehealth. Legit script guidance, nationwide provider networks, multi-mid payments, flexible pharmacy routing, your domain, your data, your merchant account, you own it all. You bring the marketing, and then Remo runs the whole machine behind it. So it's not like Remo plugs into Shopify or plugs into WooCommerce. It is a full solution of its own, and it's not dependent on anything else. So you can do literally every part of the business on Remo. Before we talk marketing, see what you're marketing on, right? So you've already seen every hard part of the telehealth business has. Remo has all of them already built and connected. Let me give you a quick 2-minute look right now, right? So let's do like a quick little platform check. Here is an example of what like a Remo store would look like. So again, you have your meds here. There's a lot more, but these are just like some examples. Users, right? You can see some of the users here. Teleforms, you can see some of the teleforms. I'll do a more intensive platform walkthrough later on. You can see some of the assets, right, that you have on your sites. Orders, you can see some of the orders here, right? Treatments, you can see some of the treatments you have, right? There's a lot of different treatments. Again, it's like a Shopify, guys. You can see a lot of the rebuilds. Again, this is just a demo store, so it's gonna all kind of obviously be declined, but you'll see like it's all approved, and then kind of like the dosage they're on and whatnot. Prepared shipments every day. You can see the prepared shipments going out. And you can go to our catalog and see the offering and all the different things we have, and then much more. Medications, you can see all the different medications as well. Again, a lot more. Guide, you can see the guides. Right? Provider networks, you can see different, this is just demo, but there's more. Provider networks, different pharmacies, again, this is demo, but there's much more. Formulations, you can see different formulations. Different states as well, states that you want to take, states that you don't. Billing, and then audits and conversion reports and whatnot. You can also see analytics. Okay, I'll have to blur out a lot of stuff here. But like, yeah, under store, if I can try and find the, right, and I'll do a lot more of an intensive walkthrough once we get to the end here. Then obviously if you go to the Remo site, you can book a private walkthrough as well, and whatnot, right? So yeah, we went through some of that. And yeah, so the takeaway on compliance is a moat, not just a cost. The brands that survive, shake out, build it early, or they use guys like us. Cutting corners here is how you lose everything overnight. Done right, it's a competitive advantage. Single best reason to launch on real infrastructure. We're gonna jump right into it, right? Because that's what we do. And for some reason on Loom, my my camera isn't showing for some reason, so we're just gonna have to roll without the camera. All right, let's get into it. Module 6, paid traffic on Meta, right? Where everyone focuses, but the real engine is economics underneath the ad. So this is why telehealth is such a great business, and this is actually gonna kind of lean a little bit out of just Meta. It's going to kind of lean into all business in general and all platforms. So as telehealth has unusually strong unit economics. For any, when I've learned a lot of lessons through my business career, especially in the last 2 years. I think I really had some accelerated learning because I have the ability and fortune to meet a lot of like very successful people very quickly in different niches. And one of the commonalities I found between people who become extremely successful, I'm not talking like, a couple $1,000,000 or tens of millions. I'm talking hundreds of millions, if not getting close to a billion, right? Because modern day billionaire is like an old fashioned millionaire is just unit economics. Transparently, people who have more dialed in unit economics and are focused on unit economics, and it's more of like a focus for them is something that I transparently have seen to be a very common pattern between very successful people, right? So with telehealth, you have extremely strong unit economics. It's one of the things that kind of drove me to the industry initially. Not only are you selling products that are recurring, but you're selling products that also are high AOV that have low churn. You literally get everything, right? Everything a business owner would want. And what that means is that no matter what your meta CACs are, your customer acquisition cost, you can still scale. A lot of people just don't really spend the time to understand their numbers, but if you can forecast your churn and your high AOV subscriptions and your profit, if you the amount you can scale is not dependent on how good of a marketer and creative director you are, but how long and how far you can defer your payback period, right? So theoretically, somebody could come into the most quote unquote saturated part of telehealth, which is, semaglutide injectables with okay pricing, nothing too competitive, and just defer a payback period of 6 months because most guys and girls are not willing to go to 6 months for their payback. So you defer a payback period of 6 months, and then you could literally outscale everybody and become the next MediV. Like literally, it's literally open market. If you have funds, it's very doable. It gives you payback period after it gives some stakes. Video marketing plus great economics still win, right? So that's again like what I'm talking about. But obviously, I want to help you guys get as low of a CAC as possible, right? So, or not even CAC, what we call it CAP, cost, PAC, patient acquisition cost. I think it's a new term I'll create. The numbers you live and die by, right? Learn these cold, they decide everything. CAC, like I just mentioned, AOV, which is naturally going to be high, LTV, payback period, and MER, right? This is very important, like I just talked about. Simple worked example. Say CAC is $250 in subscription is $250 a month. Month one, you're roughly break even, right? Not accounting for COGS, so you'll be in the negative. I think this kind of messed up the calculation. If they stay 6 months, that's good in revenue. Even on thin margins, the math works over the cohort. One time e-com never gets to the second, third, and fourth payment, and I can actually model this out for you guys. So if you looked at any of my other videos, you would see that I use this calculator a lot, right? So assuming you're getting 1,000 patients a month and your CAC is, say, let's do something really high. Let's do something like 350. Let's just say like 350, right? Opt-in is 100% because again, prescription is a subscription. Your COGS, I guess we'll just say like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, depending on GLPs, let's just say like 150. Again, I'm just modeling this out. Your front end AOV, let's say, is around the same. So your front end AOV would be like 300. Front end COGS, again, 150. I'm just putting out model numbers. So I just want to show you guys a little bit of what it might look like for OPEX at 0. We're going to model very aggressive churn here. And the reason I want to model aggressive churn is so I can show you like what it could realistically look like if everything goes wrong. I always like to show people the worst possible situation so they can come to me with the best possible situation and scale. You know what I mean? Like this is literally the worst possible situation in telehealth. Like you'll never see stuff this bad. Okay, but like for example, this model doesn't work. Okay, it goes to show, right? But this is not realistic. If you were a little bit more realistic here, right? Like you're looking at stuff more similar to this, honestly. It very much depends on the med you're selling and how you're treating the patients and platform you use and all that great stuff. And it says I go through all these here, 50 and another 50, right? And let's say the CAC, let's say you're a good marketer, you can get on 300. Dogs are not going to be around there. They're probably going to be like around 90, let's be honest. 90, let's say 90. This is a little bit more realistic. Look at that, right? So even, here's the thing about telehealth. If you're running, meta traffic, you're going to have to realize that profitable on first purchase is hard. Profitable on first rebuilds is a little bit difficult as well. But if you're going for month 2 break even, which is technically month 3, because month 0 doesn't count for the first rebuild. So if you're going for month 2 break even, so second rebuild break even, it's not a hard model to make work. And I want you guys to understand, because this is like basic subscription media buying 101. A lot of people get into telehealth and they don't realize that it is a subscription-based business, right? So to the untrained eye, this might, in the day-to-day when you're looking at the monthly P&L, like shit, we lost 90K, shit, we're still down 36K, like the day-to-day might be like, oh, like we're cooked. But again, with the same model, by the end of the year, you made $6 million in profit, right? Which is a good amount of money. So it goes to show that, you're not necessarily binded by your initial results. The money that comes in typically comes in later. That's what makes telehealth such a strong model. Again, this is any traditional subscription business would run very similar, right? So yeah. The J curve and why people quit. You lose money first. The model's working, not failing. Month 0, you're underwater on ads. But again, this is assuming you're just doing meta and you're not, doing anything unique or unique angles, unique meds, like everything I talked about before, which should give you a really good possibility of finding success, right? Month 1 and 2, the subscriptions recoup it. Month 3 and beyond, the cohort stack and compound. Most people panic and quit at the bottom of the curve. Understanding this is what separates operators from tourists. See the J curve, don't just hear about it, right? Cash position in the single launch month over month. So you can see, you go negative first as you pay back your CAC up front. The subscriptions slowly recoup that spend. Around month 6, you cross into the green, right? This is just kind of modeling it. This is not again, everyone's situation will be different. There's so many other factors. I just want you guys to realize basic forecasting is very important when it comes to telehealth. And then why subscriptions compound, right? So each month adds a new cohort of patients. Most of last month's base is still paying. So the line climbs even at flat acquisition. This is the engine that one-time ecom never has potential, so it makes the curve blend up. And and here's why it's such an advantage if you have an organic following or leverage organic followers. You don't got to worry about all this mumbo jumbo, right? You could just get straight to selling and then stacking subscriptions. And CAC is transparently one of the most expensive things in the industry. So if you can get around that by any means, you're gonna print, right? You're gonna do really well. So the big idea here is you could be average at ads and still win, right? Strong payback covers a lot of marketing sins. Where you really win is knowing your numbers cold, and most people obsess over creative and ignore the economics, right? So you flip that, you'll outblast the marketer, and that's why in telehealth too, if you combine both of them, you'll see a lot of success. And at the end of the day, your audience is already warm, right? A lot of the people that are currently, and this is just coming from my own understanding of the space and what I've seen over a long time now, actually, I've been in it for a minute now, is, people have seen Hims, Hers, Rose, Blue Chew, they've seen these other brands. So they're already familiar with a lot of these other businesses, and they might be coming off of these other brands coming to you. So a lot of the people you're selling to is middle of funnel. Top of funnel, you have to be good at marketing, and this is not a marketing course. I'll do what I can to teach you guys marketing. But at the end of the day, top of funnel is, a lot of, is a different game. It's still applicable. But what I've seen is a lot of middle funnel and bottom of funnel people can get you to millions a month in recurring. This is, again, on the meta side of things. The category is pre-sold or redirecting demand, not creating belief. So you start in the middle of the funnel. This is actually really beneficial because your CACs won't be crazy. Core rules: start middle funnel. Again, this is going to save you guys a lot of time and money. Once you start writing ads, just try and stay middle of funnel, like middle of funnel statics. Why we're better provider. This is why I always told you guys to there's different types of meds out there. Like a good one that I mentioned earlier was trizempatide and L-carnitine. Like that's really good, right? Because you're going to get a lot of people who are currently taking trizempatide or on semaglutide to get over, switch over, and that's it's really good. And that's a sitting duck opportunity right there. Middle funnel for GLP. This is specifically for GLPs. Other meds is a bit different. Other meds, if you're going to do like UTI support and all that other stuff, that's a different game. That again is still technically going to be more middle of funnel. The whole thing is middle of funnel because it's very problem aware, and some people are already product aware. But you target people who are already on GLP, you're actively researching it. Don't argue that GLP works; they already believe in it. Compete on price, transparency, care, and convenience. Wins switches from clunky competitors. This is the easiest and cheapest way to win by its category, right? So and there's so many marketing ideas you guys can have from this. Like for example, right? A really good idea is you could have, let's say you could work backwards in the top reasons why people switched off of Hims. You could literally just be targeting Hims. Like I want to get people who are taking GLPs on Hinge to switch over to me. And you could talk about how your care is better than Hinge and how your founder story is better not Hinge, sorry, Hims, and how you're better than Hims overall and all this stuff. You could that's an idea right there. The main thing I'm trying to get at is when you start turning and working your marketing brain, focus on the middle of funnel, not the top of funnel. Don't get into GLPs and run semaglutide ads trying to teach people what semaglutide is. They already know it, and those are the people that you're going to get off the bat already know it. You'll find success selling the middle of funnel initially. Right, middle of funnel for ED, NAD here. ED, men already buy sildenafil and tadalafil, NAD, longevity, everything. You just kind of you just want to position yourself as a better option at the first idea, and then you can get into being the better option. Don't sell a new belief. Belief is expensive. Demand is cheap. Right, convincing someone a category works costs a fortune. Capturing someone who already wants it is cheap. Right. Lead with the results they're already chasing. Handle the one objection keeping them from buying. Save education for content, not cold ads. Angles that actually convert, again, transparent pricing, best in the class patient care and fast responses. Even if you're just leveraging the patient care we have at Remo, again, it's not a lie because we have very good patient care and that's alone can get someone to switch over. Speed and convenience, you can talk about how there's no delays and whatnot. Price and experience versus the big brand names. Be a little plain in the messaging and in your numbers. Again, I was surprised in telehealth how basic your creative really needs to be. You don't have to have, you don't need to be the next, direct response king or anything like that. You really just need to be a half decent marketer and your unit economics will work in your favor. You just got to bankroll some capital if you're just doing meta. So the big idea here is your offer matters more than your ad, right? Most operators obsess over creative and underprice their offer. A great offer makes mediocre ads work. A weak offer breaks great ads, right? So pricing, terms, and bonuses are all levers competitors can't copy fast, right? So spend a real day on the offer before you spend $1 on ads. And this could be something as simple as I want to give you guys a really good example right now. If someone buys a medicine, let's say on Remo from you, and they're going to get patient care regardless, and they're going to get doctor support, 24/7 doctor support and all that stuff regardless. Some brands will market it in two different ways. They'll market it as this is a free thing. You get free doctor support with the GLP with every patient, right? It's very smart. Some brands will actually go ahead and market the doctor support as a recurring subscription, right? They'll market it like Mochi does, kind of like a membership or recurring subscription, because transparently you can't, I'll tell you, transparently on the Remo side, we spend a lot of money on that. So as a brand, you're leveraging that for, essentially free. You can charge your customers for that. That's free money, and that makes your offer look more sexy and adds more parts to your offer, right? So that's the idea right there. And that's what I say about offer. People think about offer way too 2D, like pricing. I'm not talking about pricing. I'm talking about positioning. Okay. And in telehealth, it's all about those things, like positioning of your offer, middle of funnel switches, unique distribution channels like organic and emails and SMS, right? I know some people that run telehealth for GLPs, and again, essentially with GLPs, we've seen very unique marketing in GLPs because they've just been around for so long. But I've seen this before where like people won't even run like funnels where you can buy. It's like you have to DM or text or call, or you get called and then it just sells over the phone. So again, this doesn't only have to be strictly, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like standard meta ads. There's a lot of ways to get to that purchase. Again, there's a million ways to make a million. How to price your offer. 3 reference points to triangulate form, right? So brand name is your ceiling, competitor telehealth price is your market reality, your cost plus payback target or score. Pick a price that lets you afford a CAC, then defend it. Don't race to the bottom, race to the cleanest offer, like I just mentioned. Trial offers that actually work, right? $1 first week. First spend 50% off someday. Like, okay, so $1 first week, I think this like disregard that. Sorry, I should take that out. Watch out for refund spikes. So again, like this is a little bit of a disclaimer. I'll put it like this: if you guys are running offers that change in pricing, and we see this with GLPs a lot, like where MediV does this, or they did this, where it starts at like $199 or something, then it jumps up to like $399 or something like that. Just know your churn initially. That there will be a good amount of people that hop off, right? Especially if you're doing like trisulfide orals or something. That doesn't give the same kick as trisulfide injections. They still work, but the higher dosages work better. So you just have to kind of like understand like economically and then like patient wise what will happen. The good thing about medicine is you can run offers like that and still have like a decent churn, like a comparable churn to Nutra, when you can never do stuff like that in Nutra and get away with it compliantly, right? Nutra being supplements, but you can run offers that are like, $199 first month, price jump up to $250. I've seen ED does that really well, where they do price jumps in ED because it's very addictive, and sleep and whatnot, and hormone. You can do price jumps and stuff like NED. I wouldn't, because NED takes some time to work, and you're going for more like you don't want to price jump on those people, but because they're so energetic, they'll just refund it because they're just so energetic. That's a joke, but like you get what I'm saying. Like you just have to kind of play it by ear and kind of get into that thought process. Annual pre-payment commitment offers. This is a really, really good secret for you guys, right? So a lot of people make a lot of money in telehealth from the higher AOV plans, right? And how they do that is through multiple different means, right? One of the best ways to leverage these the high AOV and effectiveness of telehealth is just by having phone reps push the higher AOV plans and offering higher AOV plans. One of the biggest surprises I saw in telehealth was when we saw a lot of our clients running ads. I would see average order values of like $1,000, $2,000. I remember one day I saw someone spent like 3.5K, like these like high ticket orders. And I was asking the clients like what are you guys doing? Like you guys like do like you have phone wraps or something? They're like, oh, that'd be a good idea, but no, we're running ads to the funnel. Like they didn't take form in the funnel we gave us. We're not doing anything special. So it's absolutely absurd that you can get such good metrics and such high AOV just by having it in your option, like quarterly and annually plans at like a discount, because people like know it works. They see you're like certified and they'll just buy. Like it's just one of the craziest things ever. And you collect a lot of money up front. So this helps defer a lot of loss. And the annual cohorts retain dramatically better because these people are out looking to switch around. And then free floats, it floats your ad spend and no inventory, ignore the inventory. And position as saving that as a lock-in. So this is like really good. And then a step on top of that is like, guys, get a phone rep. Go to Upwork and find a phone rep. It's not hard. Get a phone rep to just call up people that have dropped off your intake, or people who are dropping off your website, or people who already purchased, and just get them on higher plans. Like just have them call them up. It's not hard whatsoever. And like people already know it works. If they offer a discount on the call, you'll be very surprised to see how many people actually take it. Anchor against the brand name. So show the comparison before they have to do the math, right? Display the brand name cash next to yours. This is like a little trick that we saw work really well if you're doing compounded medicines. We see a lot of people do this. The psychology of shipping included. This is another one, like how we see that people doing, like mentioning a doctor support is included, mentioning shipping is included, and refunds and all this stuff is included as well. Really helps get the sale because you're doing the extra step. Build an angle library. So angles beats images. Test the message, not the visual, right? Price angle, care angle, convenience angle, switcher angle. Like these are like, again, like I'm telling you guys, I'm giving you guys, throwing you guys a bone. If you're gonna do GLPs, realize a lot of people are gonna buy specifically off meta traffic. Have already bought GLPs before. So the way to win the purchase is just by acknowledging that and then working off of the angles you can come up with there, right? And then why statics win early? CPMs are way lower. I'll kind of like skip all this risk business and tell you CPMs are just way lower on statics and videos, so you can reach more people quicker. Anatomy of a winning static, right? Pieces, the best ones to share, right? So hook tie to the results or the objection. Visible, this is legit, right? Clear offer, a native look that doesn't scream ad, and one obvious next step into the quiz, right? Hook formulation to start with, right? So again, like you're just starting in the middle of funnel. So you can be ready on GLP, read this first. Price reveal, what you should actually pay for. The objection flip, no needles, no insurance on clinic. This is if you're doing orals. The result, down 22 pounds, shipped to my door. Call out, men over 40 on T. This is for you. So again, like you don't just get into GLPs, and I don't want anyone to think here that you can just run ads and say like, the best way to lose weight is GLPs, and here's what GLPs do, and here's our semaglutide. You're going to be fighting an uphill battle. That's not something that I would personally recommend. You can make it work. You can make anything work in this game because unit economics is so damn good. And sometimes you just have an ad account and an ad that hits. I'm not going to disregard that. Everyone, have your own strategy. But what I will say is if you focus a bit on middle of funnel, you'll be surprised how far you go, right? Everybody knows that on Meta, all that matters is your creatives, and your creatives, all that matters is your angle and copy. I'm not going to spend the next 5 hours getting into copy and angles, but what I will tell you is focus on middle of funnel, focus on mechanisms that are more so existent on people who are existingly taking GLPs, if you're going to do GLPs, and notice how it's much easier and you'll outperform everyone else. A simple testing system, right? Structure beats randomness. Test angles first, then visuals, then small variations. Give each test enough budget to read clearly. Kill losers fast. Log every test, right? This is just like basic e-com stuff. I will tell you guys is like if you're running meta ads, TikTok ads, any sort of ads, you should be continuously testing your angles and creatives. And in this game, again, it's middle of funnel, but you should also be logging it on a sheet. I have a lot of sheets and assets I go over in other videos. So you can, watch those, but if you ever need anything, you can always just email me a question on IG. I usually respond pretty quickly. Next, get the meta plummeting right? So pixel and conversion API firing clean events, right? So I'll tell you right now, attribution is actually quite difficult in telehealth. It was something that we were kind of struck by initially. We fixed it a lot in Remo. If you guys don't end up using Remo, which again, I'm not going to hold you to anything, but if you end up using other platforms or building it yourself, just double check your attribution, if not triple check it, because it is very hard to get it right. And it took us a lot of time to get it right, but I'm very glad to say we have our attribution down to the T. Optimize for the real event, started or approved. Keep campaigns structured, simple, let meta learn. Exclude existing patients from prospecting. You can just keep it wide open, honestly. All that matters is making sure your tracking is set up properly. The small thing as well, if you guys look at a lot of top ad libraries, like MediB did this as well, you can have multiple different pages running, right? Like if anybody, has seen top ad libraries, which again, this is not going to be like a direct response and how to run meta ads course, but it's very important for telehealth if you're going to do meta, is like have, ads running on multiple pages. If you have ads running on multiple pages and you segment out the pages as much as possible, you're going to find lower meta CPM. So segment out pages is very important. Again, for more like meta help, that's in other videos or just DM me. But scaling the spend, right? So proof profit on warm middle first, middle funnel alone can scale to 20 to 30K a day, and widen targeting and broaden angles. Watch CAC against payback the whole way up. Never pour budget into funnel that isn't converting. This is very simple stuff. But if you have your forecasting and numbers done, it's not a problem. Retargeting in the warm net, right? Don't let intent leak out the bottom. So retarget quiz starters are ready to finish. You can do this with calling, honestly. I think the most effective way to get people who abandon is just callers. Like, guys, you can get someone from the Philippines or anywhere to do calling for the funnel, right? For your funnel, like for a couple bucks a day. and like they'll do a good job. Like you just give them a half decent script to follow and a discount. You'll be very surprised. Retarget, checkout banners or objection handles. Again, calling. I honestly think you can skip a lot of this for calling. When it comes to email and SMS, I'll tell you right now, this is a big one, right? This is a big one. you cannot use Klaviyo for telehealth. I know my ecom guys, I know I just, struck an arrow through your heart. I know it hurts, but you cannot use Klaviyo for telehealth. You have to use another platform. The platform we recommend, we're not affiliated with them whatsoever, but I recommend them is customer.io. Again, we integrate directly with them on Remo. And then Twilio for texting and whatnot. And there's ways around it to get those green text messages to the blue, right? But you could use customer.io. It's a one-stop shop for everything. It's going to make everything perfect, right? Warm traffic is your cheapest revenue. And again, like a lot of people, get into ecom and then they neglect the back-end retention marketing. So that's going to be the email, SMS, and calling. But like in telehealth, even if you can win over, 10 patients, 20 patients, 30 patients, that's a lot of people because the economics work, right? Like it's worth it to fight over these back-end leads because it's actually, going to make you money because of the economics and these people will stick. With normal Nutra, I'll be honest, guys, sometimes I don't even add email and SMS marketing to like 20K days. And in telehealth, I would never do that because the SMS and email in the back end just makes such a big difference, right? Again, customer.io helps a lot with that. And then just calling is really important. You could have close set up. And again, we integrate with all of these on Remo. But you could have close set up to basically have that Filipino rep is calling up leads. Again, I'm saying Filipino. You could use anybody. It doesn't have to be someone from the Philippines. But you can have someone calling up the leads, and you could have customer.io for the retention. Okay, great ads die on bad quiz, optimize the whole path, right? So match the landing page to the ads promise, keep the quiz fast and momentum building, show price and trust at the right moment, reduce steps in between interest and checkout, and then test the funnel as hard as you test ads. So again, the funnel should be working, right? And the anatomy of a converting quiz. So easy opener, personalization. Again, we handle all this at Remo. Some of the best quizzes I want you guys to look at is TrimRx is a great quiz. EdV has a great quiz. Beluccio is a good one for ED. And again, these are all built out for you guys to use. And if there's anything unique you want to do with the quiz, feel free to, let us know. We'll build it out for you. One thing I will mention as well too, guys, is the quiz is important, but it isn't the most important part. The most important part, technically, is going to be your offering and how you structure your offer and what you do in the back end with the leads. That's more important than the quiz. I would honestly say the first thing is get that offer down. Then after, and remember, offer isn't pricing. It is not pricing. Before you think it's pricing, think again. It's how you position yourself. Then the next one is going to be, again, like what you do with the leads. Because again, like you'll be surprised how many people drop off of that, lead form. Like you could literally optimize. You could just have it. Your whole business could just be like the calling. Like I know people that do that. Again, it's literally so slept on. And then the last one is then your quiz or intake form, right? The opener questions matter the most. Lead with something they can answer in seconds. Again, this is very, very basic. Visual is big. A lot of brands do visuals in their things. We help you with that as well. You can personalize it a bit. Don't spend too much time on this. Price of deal commitments at the checkout. Guys, I've actually had a client one time try doing a checkout at the beginning of the funnel. This is funny. I'll bring this up right now. A checkout at the beginning of the funnel versus the end. So they had like a checkout and then the intake form because they thought it was frictionless. The CACs were ridiculous on it. I do not recommend that. Might have worked for ED though. If you guys do ED or anything outside of GOP, it might work. But for GOP, it did not. So don't do that. Keep your ad copy compliant, very basic. Use meta ad library like a pro. Again, you could use tools like Trend Track and just go on Trend Track and look up like GLP, right? Which is very, very, very useful. These are just e-com tactics. I go into these more in depth in other videos. That's why I'm not pulling up the actual Trend Track right now. But if you were to go to Trend Track and look up GLP, you would find GLP brands there. And if you would look up ED, you'd find ED brands there. You would find a lot of funnels there. Trend Track is a very good tool. But even if you just want a meta ads library, you looked up like semaglutide, tirzepatide, metformin, or whatever you're running, just the compound names. Like the competitors pop up, like the ads pop up, and you can go through the ad libraries. Again, like a lot of people think it's like really hard to find data. The data is all public. It's all there, right? You can literally build a swipe file. Right? Next thing is Google is a channel almost no one is running. So Meta is where you find your warm and good traffic. Google is where you find high intent, ready to buy people, right? And Google is huge. And again, once you get your logistics approved, you can run Google, no problem whatsoever. One thing I'll mention with Google as well is like, and I heard this from other people who do like crazy numbers and specifically GLPs, is that Google actually has a lower churn buyer than Meta because you have a higher intent buyer. So even if your Google CACs are higher, your churn will be lower there. Just keep that in your mind if you're taking notes. But Google's huge. Just like basic Google setup, like buy semaglutide online. Uh, any meds you're running, anything you're doing, Google will be huge, right? And I'm not going to get into how to set up Google Ads and whatnot. If you guys need Google ad agencies and help with Google Ads, again, DM me. I'm always there to help you guys out. But I always tell people, like, when you're getting telehealth, start with the middle of funnel meta funnels and traffic and get that going, and then start getting Google at low budget going as well. And just with those two alone, you can scale up to crazy numbers. Like I'm literally 100K a day, like it's insane. But Google is very, very, very good if you know how to run it properly. Right? Search intent and telehealth is really big. So brand in your name, your competitor's name is really good. And I don't know if any of you guys know about the brand search campaigns, but competitor brand search campaigns is something that we've done a lot back in the day. And that is a very good funnel. It's like essentially you're just running a Google ad, and like for the keyword, it's literally your competitor's keyword. So you can literally like do like hims or hers or any of these ones, and it just like takes from the competitors. So a good strategy there. Again, like a lot of stuff like I just mentioned below, Google is huge. A lot of people sleep on Google, right? A lot of people sleep on Google. Google ad vertical certifications, right? So healthcare advertising on Google, there is a process, right? That's why it's so good, because not everybody can do it. Same thing with Meta as well. But once you get your legit script, you are good to go, right? Legit script is literally needed for everything, right? Branded versus category bidding. So branded, like I just mentioned, you're bidding on your own brand to defend against competitors. You're bidding on competitor names, which is very, very smart. And then category, you're building on systems and keywords, and like this is the compound itself. Like again, like if you're going to sell a normal semaglutide, you can run Google ads and just defer your payback and scale to the moon. Programmatic SEO is a long-term game. Free traffic compounds, plant the seeds early. So you can do SEO. Anybody who knows how to do SEO and blogs, I personally don't know too much about SEO myself. It's a strategy that we never really did much in e-com, to be honest with you guys, but it is a very smart strategy because you can build hundreds of pages in each ranking from a specific term. Condition pages, semaglutide for women, tadalafil daily, comparison pages, him versus row, hers versus mochi. Like again, like comparison pages, people scale with that. State pages, telehealth, weight loss in California. Slow to start, but unstoppable once it hits. I'll tell you this, guys. There are people that are doing 6 figures a day and then stacking more, like, stacking recurring revenue, like 6 figures recurring revenue a day with literally barely any CAC, barely any marketing costs, just because they nerded out and they cracked SEO. They have hundreds of blog posts, hundreds of comparison posts. They run Google ads to their SEO to bump it up. They run Google ads straight to their thing. That's like their only cost. There's some natives going, but they don't even touch Meta. They don't even touch TikTok or any of these platforms. They don't even touch influencers. They just went really, really deep onto these comparison pages and SEO because they realized that a lot of telehealth right now is a middle of funnel game and they've scaled to the moon. So before you guys think that, it's very hard to find ways to generate, sales, just know that SEO alone has made people 8-figure liquid millionaires, right? Condition comparison pages are huge. Condition pages, and I'm not going to, go into very in depth on like how to make these pages and make one with you guys. That's why you have AI, you have Claude and AI, ChatGPT. You can easily make them on your own and figure out how to make them and publish them. That's not, I'm not going to waste your time with that. I'm just going to let you know what's smart, right? Because again, at the end of the day, the knowledge that's going to help you is what to tell your AI, because you're all going to use AI anyway, right? But condition pages capture symptoms like signs of low T. Comparison pages both deserve real content, not AI slop, right? Breaking down a real ad right here. This is a real meta ad that I pulled up from liferx.md, right? So the hook, the trust, the light board frame. So again, like this ad could scale to 5 figures a day in spend. You'd be surprised. Rest of your spy stack, Meta Ads Library, TikTok Creative Center for TikTok ads just started on GLP, so ED, it's really good as well. Tools like Foreplay, Modash, study the winners. Don't bet the business on one channel. Again, like people all over the place are making, like doing meta natives, and on meta, it's like all segmented to different things. Snapchat, we've seen TikTok, we've seen SEO, we've seen influencers, someone just utilizing their own personal brand and just getting to 200-300K a month and calling it a day. Like we've seen everything, right? And again, the Remo connects to literally everything under the sun, anything you guys need. Make creative without a studio. Again, you don't need a studio. That's basic. I won't get into that. Where new operators burn money. A lot of people go broad without naming the warm audience. They judge ads on clicks instead of approved patients. They kill tests before they have enough data. Scaling winners so fast it breaks the funnel and blaming the ad when ignoring the landing page. Getting into the LTV gap a little bit here too. So again, like even if you guys just put in like 30% marketing effort into like congruent angles and making yourself a little bit better, making yourself a little bit unique, right? You will win because 30% of marketing efforts on a RX patient goes like so much further than 100% of marketing effort on a supplement buyer. Completely different, right? Now let's get into organic and influencers. What is up, my beautiful people? So let us keep going. Let us keep going here. So module 7 is going to be organic and influencers, right? So for some reason, my beautiful face is not showing. My camera is not working, but it's okay, right? Let's talk about organic and influence. So organic is the no paid can't be. This is what I was talking about earlier. I am so bullish. I am so bullish on somebody coming to market in telehealth and taking the Hudson comfort creator army approach in telehealth. I just know you guys would kill it. I just know it. I've seen the back end of very small personal brands and like decently sized personal brands push telehealth, and like the retention is much better. The economics are much better. Like if you can get around the acquisition cost, telehealth is so efficient. Organic is like this cheat code that no one really talks about, right? And if anybody, I'm telling you right now, there are so many year one millionaires that are gonna spawn in. They're literally gonna spawn in from organic telehealth. There's so many. Anyone with a credit card can rent paid traffic. Organic compounds and can't be copied overnight. Blue Chew kind of did this, right? Creators transfer from trust to your ads campaign, produces the lowest blend CAC you'll find, right? So the Blue Chew playbook, essentially how the single niche ED brand became impossible to miss. So they built campaigns around creators making native content. They focused on couples, used a Q&A format to basically sell ED. They reused organic content as paid ads. They layered podcasts and promo codes for attribution. They made the brand feel everywhere and normal. Now, here's the thing why a lot of platforms haven't done, or why a lot of brands haven't done organic marketing with telehealth is because their platform doesn't allow it. Organic marketing means you have to send the product to multiple creators. That means you have to get a prescription for multiple creators, unless there's a way around it. At Remo, we basically found ways around this to empower brands to do influencer and organic marketing, so you don't have to, do that. Like you're able to do it. A lot of platforms actually don't allow you to do it. This is a huge advantage for you guys because a lot of these old heads that are in the industry that aren't using these other platforms aren't able to do influencer marketing in the first place. So you are using an unfair advantage that you have. And on top of that as well, again, it is just so powerful. Right, one Blue Chew campaign by the numbers. They had one campaign did around 37 million views the first month. They did, and this is all sourced by the way. You can look this up. They had a $5 CPM, which isn't crazy. That means for every 1,000 impressions they got, it was $5. That's insane. On our meta campaigns these days, our CPMs are close to $100. And 52% of men facing ED, huge market. The good thing I like about Blue Chew, right, is when I say hims and hers, everybody knows them. But when I say Blue Chew, everybody knows them as well. And it's so funny because Hims and Hers has Super Bowl commercials. They spend 8 figures a month plus on ads. They've done so much PR. They're this huge company. And Blue Chew is just like a seller. It's like a normal seller. They're not, I'm not saying they're small, but they're just a normal e-commerce brand that said, F it, we're going to go down the influencer and creator route. And they really crushed it, really crushed it. And they became just as big. The creative engine step by step. So again, the loop is the whole game, run on repeat. So they seed widely, get the product in the hands of many relevant creators fast. They let them create authentic on-brand posts. And this all comes back, like you could do the Blue Chew approach middle of funnel. I'm not going to go into how to do influencer marketing on this one. That's like a video for another day. But essentially, if you're using any sort of tools out there, there's so many out there, you can find influencers very quickly. Just to give you guys a quick 2 cents, I've been able to reach a lot of Blue Chew influencers and a lot of influencers in general on X. I've talked about this in some of my other free courses, but like essentially, if you just go to X and you like look up like, or if you make a tweet on your profile or new profile saying like looking for hashtag UGC creators for a telehealth ED brand or a telehealth UTI brand, helping women all over the world that suffer from UTIs, whatever it may be. You'll get creators flooding in your DMs. Like it's easier than people think. You don't need to have like a creator agency or anything like that. You can literally just go to X, or you can go on ChatGPT and say like, how do I find creators for my telehealth business? And they'll be like, there's different websites you can use. Like Incense is a very popular one for anybody that knows. I'm not affiliated with them, but Incense, here, I'll show you guys right now actually. So there's a handful of different ones here. Billow is really good. Stack is good as well. Impact is not really much. Incense is the best. I highly recommend you guys use them. Using this for telehealth would literally just be a huge, huge, huge cheat code that not a lot of people are even thinking about. Right, the creator engine step by step. Like I mentioned, the biggest unlock is reuse organic as paid. Blue Chew does a really good job at this, and between you and me, Blue Chew has very good CACs and very good metrics based off of the analysis that I've done on them. And they have some of the best metrics I've ever seen or assumed to see in telehealth, and it all came back to their organic kind of leading into their paid. Where to find the right creators? You don't need celebrities, you need fit and volume, right? Search your niche on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Use Modash as a really good platform as well to see already posted for similar brands. Micro creators often convert better than bigger names. And again, this is not a whole course on influencers and whatnot, but what I will say is you'd rather have an army of smaller creators through the softwares that I mentioned in places like Modash and Outreach and X that you have a good relationship with than like one large creator, right? You're not trying to get a Kim K, you want to get a bunch of small creators. What's really smart is what I've seen people do before is like, you can be scrappy with it. Like you can get these creators, you can organize them onto like, a Google sheet, you can message them out to make frequent posts, and brands can grow really fast just by having a couple creators on retainer that they work very closely with. How to actually reach out. So outreach is a numbers game with a good offer. Lead with a clear, simple deal and a free product. Make it simple. Offer affiliate codes so they keep earning. You want all your creator posts to be affiliate posts, and we can give you affiliate links inside our email and coupon codes so that they all they're all on track. The seeding hack is real edge to the problem. Normally, every creator needs their own prescription to receive product. This is slow, expensive, and impossible to scale. 7 products to creators is a prescription for creator as your organic engine can actually run. So we have ways to do this at Remo, right? We have ways to give them like, if you have custom packaging, or give them like empty vials or whatever it may be. Like we have built-in ways so that you can actually get influencers without having to pay for specific prescriptions or get an actual prescription. Again, like we're solving a big gap in the market. Whitelisting and Spark ads is huge. You have your legit script, use it, right? Very simple. Structure your affiliate program. So affiliates are big, right? Even Blue Chew uses affiliates, and they have this is taken from their website. It's called Blue Revenue, right? Pay on performance with CPA and rev share. So they have basically like and we can set this up on Remo as well. We've already done it. Where it's like, if you guys have ever heard the app on Shopify called Social Snowball, it's the same concept where you can you send all your customers a affiliate program, and you can turn them all into affiliates, and it kind of gives like this like compounding effect. And they all get their tracking links and whatnot. So you can, really, really start building a massive creator-based affiliate program that helps you use ads, or helps in your ads as well. Tap into affiliate network. So this is a little bit different than just creators. If we have Everflow, we have direct Everflow integration on Remo, so you can work directly with affiliate platform or affiliate networks, right? So anyone who comes from the affiliate game, you guys know affiliates are huge. MediV scaled with affiliates. ChimRx scales with affiliates. Affiliates is a very complex game I'm not going to get too much into right now, but just know you can get started with affiliate networks very easily through Remo. I actually have personally put a lot of our clients in touch with ones I know where we work directly with a lot of the popular affiliate networks. We have a good connection at iScale. We have a good one at Joey's network as well. I think it's like OfferNet or something. There's a couple others that we're connected with, but we can get you guys on affiliate networks, no problem whatsoever. UGC versus influencers. UGC is your content I always say just get influencer, micro-influencer content, and that becomes your UGC. Podcasts work really well for this category. We saw Blue Chew do this, and just because it's a middle of funnel audience, they really do consume a lot of podcasts and stuff like that. So you can easily reach podcasters through the same methods that I just. Right, so podcasts work really well. Build your own content too. So don't rent audiences, grow one. This is why. So the founder angles and like the like what we've seen, like just like even if you're just an influencer with a platform, again, you could do really well here because it's free audience and it churns way lower. Like I want you guys to realize, like, okay, here, like let's do some math. I'm gonna do some math right now. Let's do some math. All right, we're gonna pull up a calculator. Let's say you're an influencer, okay, and you have 100,000 followers, 2 to 3, right? And let's say you're gonna sell to your audience a course, okay? Let's say you get 1% of your audience to buy, which is typically the rule of thumb. You get 1,000 people to buy. And this is like, you know, maybe it's going to take you 3 months, 5 months, whatever. You get 1,000 people to buy. Let's say you sell a course. To get 1,000 people to buy that course is going to be like probably like $300 for like coaching, fitness coaching, or whatever it is, right? That's $300,000. Now you're going to get at least 30% of people that refund, 30% people that charge back. Okay, let's just say like that's 9,000. 90. Okay, so let's just say you made $200,000. 1, 2, 3. You made $200,000 by selling a product that's a $300 course to your following, right? Because again, you know, 0.1% of your people will buy. And again, I'm in the game of influencing. Don't worry, I have, you know, I think collectively like well over 500,000 followers and billions of views to clippers. So I know content. Trust me, I do. 1, 2, 3. 1,000 people, again, 300,000, right? Now, the 1% rule is like all time, right? So it's like year to year. Like if I even run some of my numbers too, like I know if I have like, let's say like 370. Okay, these numbers are way lower than I thought. Yeah, I'd say this is about, no, I would even say it's lower. Like I'm trying to compare, what I'm trying to do here for you guys on the spot is compare info to telehealth. But again, like if you have 100,000 followers and you have like a $200 to $300 product and you have like, let's say the best of the best sales team, the best of the best of everything, best of the best funnel, you're only going to be making like low 6 figures. And like, that's one time and it's done. You've liquidated and people freaking hate you afterwards. Like people literally hate it when you sell them info. The only reason you guys are watching this is because it's free. And if I said halfway through this, like, oh, to get more information, you're going to have to pay me, you're going to kill me. Like you guys hate it. Like I'm telling you right now, you kill your personal brand by selling info. That's why I low-key stopped. Like for people that have been following me for a while, like I stopped pushing my program and whatnot. I started pushing our education. It's just like, if you want education, I'm here to help you. I have education and consulting business. You know, it also helps us with deal flow. And that's it, you know? I build in my lane, you build in yours, but I make content that helps you. That's how I think about it. But let's say you had 100,000 followers, and a lot of these people are already taking GLPs or looking into the telehealth niche or middle of the funnel. You could easily convert like at least just 5% of your audience on taking a GLP, right? Like let's say you get 5% of them to take that peptides for you that they would be taking otherwise. That's recurring revenue, right? That's recurring revenue. That's really good. Like that's 1.5 million. And before you think, oh, that's not realistic, I know of influencers that have around 80,000 to 100,000 followers that make close to $1 million a month, mostly profit from their personal brand. I cannot stress enough with telehealth. Now, out of respect, I'm not going to share who these people are, but it's absolutely crazy the recurring numbers you can get to. Right, so the big idea of reviews are the new ads. So 60% of buyers check reviews before they pay. Trustpilot, Google reviews, BBB, Reddit are all real verdict. Operators who ignore this will lead conversions, right? So operators will check you on Google, Trustpilot, and Reddit. A good way to kind of combat this is just having things, and we can help you set this up at Remote to where people have to leave reviews on Trustpilot and whatnot to help, you know, boost your brand. Like that's a very good way of helping your business. How to ask reviews, again, just mentioned that. Handling negative reviews, you really won't have much, but you can typically just respond. This is kind of slop. I'll kind of move forward here. All right, measure your organic honestly, right? So if you're using codes to creators, you're watching traffic. It depends. If you guys are doing both of them, you're going to have to track your MER, which is very important. I always tell people, like, depending on your background and your unfair advantage, just start with whatever makes the most sense for you. Now, beyond ads, your unfair advantages are personal. Paid and organic are tactics anyone can run. Your network and your face are things nobody can copy. An audience, a friend group, a reputation, all leverage. Most people sit on advantages they never use. And in telehealth, again, in telehealth, even if you get 20 people, right, you guys need to do the math. Like, the math is really good in this industry. If you get 20 people, spending $250 a month on GLPs, that's $5K a month, 5,000. It's like, and like, let's just say, like, okay, I'm sure we all know 100 people. Okay. Even like the good thing about this is, like, even the person who's just popular can get to good numbers. If you can get 100 people, and they're going to take these peptides anyway, especially if you're doing peptides, you're doing GLPs or NAD. You have 100 people, you tell them, yeah, I got a whole doctor, I got my own RX website, I got doctors and everything in the back end. If you buy from me, you'll get doctor support, blah, blah, blah. You just get 100 people, right? That's 25K a month. You know what I mean? That, like, to the average person, that's not bad. That's 300K a year. And, like, you just had 100 people that were going to take GLPs anyway. Like the reason this industry, what I'm trying to say is, this industry has such strong unit economics. You could literally walk up and down the street and just be like, yo, are you on GLPs? Are you on GLPs? Are you taking peptides? Are you on anything? No? Yeah? Like, where do you get it from? No, you should get it from here. Like, if you get it from here, you get doctor support. Doctor support's on the house. Everything's on the house. You can message me directly if you have any questions. It's a prescription. It's actually legit. Like don't get it from these sketchy sites. Like, you could literally just do that for a week, 2 weeks, get 100 people, and now you're at 300K a year. It's like, because the economics is so strong, and that's assuming people aren't going to go ahead and buy more. If you get these people that are through your friend group or natural or whoever it may be, they're not going to churn, and they're also going to want to get more stuff from you, because they realize that, like, you're actually, like, got legit stuff, right? It's pretty strong and powerful what you can do. If you have an audience, you're already one. I always tell people, like, if you have an audience, push. Even 100 people is 25K a month. Word of mouth from people who actually use it, again, very strong. The quiet path to 10 to 30K a month. At roughly $250 a month, 40 patients is 10K MRR. Around 120 patients, that's 30,000 a month. Friends, family, gym, community. Let's say you work at a gym, you work at a supermarket. Like you guys have to realize that the everyday person can start making a crap ton of money with telehealth, because we're enabling them to. And that's kind of what makes me so excited about what we're building at Remo. We're genuinely building it as a solution that the everyday person can come in and start selling it. Let's say you personally started taking trizempatide. Let's say trizempatide orals, one of the products we have at Remo, and it did really well for you. And people ask you, let's say you had 30, 40 people ask you, yeah, how do you lose weight? Like, trizempatide orals. Let's say you get them on trizempatide orals. Now you're at 10K a month, and they're getting that same personalized effect that you got, right? Then layer it on every channel, and those people can make content for you, marketing connections, right? If you get people to take it, then they make a video like, hey, I got my trizempatide from Johnny RX trizempatide and did really good, and then boom, now you have content for your ads. So again, it's very, very powerful, right? What is up, guys? So we are going to continue here on module 8, being email and SMS, right? Let's jump into it. So the big idea here is, this is kind of how you protect MRR a bit. And then also, like I mentioned before, email and SMS is way more impactful in telehealth than it is in other industries, because you make more per patient, right, than other industries. So it can make up around 20 to 30% of your business. So customer IO is what we recommend to use, because you cannot use Klaviyo because it's not allowed. So customer IO is pretty straightforward. It's you can handle email and SMS together. It can connect directly on remote to your patients, so you kind of have everything set up. Typical flows, normal e-com, we run like welcome flows, abandoned intake flows, and whatnot. A business that does this really well is TrimRx. It's a GLP brand. I recommend you guys look at it. TrimRx has a really good SMS campaigns. They literally spam you every single day, and they have really good emails as well. So I highly recommend you guys take a look at TrimRx. and go through their stuff. So the flows you build are pretty simple, right? What this module will cover is welcome and onboarding, intake abandonment, checkout abandonment, pending approval, what's the word here? Nurture, shipped in first dose, refill and rebuild reminders, dose escalation, win backs, cross-sell, reviews, and referrals. So in the email game, there are two types of emails. You have transactional emails on the left side, and then you have on the right side or the other side, you have marketing emails. All the transactional emails that you need, like refill and rebuild reminders, dose escalation, shipped in first dose, these are all handled depending on the platform you use. So if you use your email, already have these built in, so you don't have to worry about transactionally communicating stuff to the patient. We already handle that for you. Marketing is up to you, right? So again, you can use customer.io to come up with intake abandonment, checkout abandonment, blast. You can go as aggressive as you want. I always tell people the more aggressive you go, the better. I have seen the back end of a lot of top e-com brands and what they do on the email side. And I can tell you right now, anyone who says like, oh, don't email them too much, it's not good, is they don't know what they're talking about. The more emails you can send, the better. I recommend, like I always tell people, like, 1 to 2 campaigns a day, like not a week. People do like once a week and they're like, oh, I don't make that much from emails. You should be blasting the crap. And that doesn't mean every email has to be selling something. You could have an email that doesn't sell something, that's like more so, like this, that's just education, right? Another thing as well, a lot of people talk about agencies and whatnot. There's a lot of agencies I can refer you guys to. If you DM me on IG, there's a lot of them. I know, but a lot of like nowadays, Claude can do the whole thing for you. You can have Claude build on Claude or Manus build on customer.io and really build out the emails for you. We live in an agentic world, right? Welcome and onboarding, right? So flow is the first one. Email them while you're instant. You can explain the telehealth stuff. This is very, very basic stuff, right? Intake abandonment. So this will be kind of, this is what you like. We have a default option at Remo, but I always tell people, like, you can always go ahead and make your own that's more personalized and whatnot, that can be more aggressive. You can add an SMS as well with Twilio. I recommend using Twilio. Checkout abandonment. This is basically someone who drops off of the reach checkout but didn't pay. This is a very warm audience. I also recommend you guys have people, phone reps that are calling that as part of the funnel. And you can use close as well, right? Pending approval nurture. This one, we already have some stuff transactionally set up with Remo, but you can also set up some stuff of your own, like, the doctor is reviewing it. The consult is on us. Don't worry. We're excited to get you going, blah, blah, blah. Shipped in first dose, very basic stuff. This is, again, transactional. It's done on Remo. Refill and rebuild reminders, again, transactional, done on Remo, but we can also, people have done the extra step of doing more of them internally. Pending approval nurture, right? This is great. Shipped, I already went over this, right? Dose escalation and adherence, right? So I always tell people, like, in the game of telehealth, it's always better to go more nurture, more emails, more reminders than less, because you're not going to you don't win in this industry by being black hat or gray hat. I'll be real. You win in this industry by being clean, transparent, and just trying to offer better care, because you're already starting off on a good note by offering a really good product. Win back is very easy, right? And again, if you guys are doing what I recommend you guys do, and that's have like a proper like a phone rep or something, or you even message patients yourself, it's already going to be done on its own. I always tell people, like, in telehealth, you want to, 1 second. Sorry, someone's on my door. Sorry. Yeah. So you want to, I always tell people, yes, we have very good patient care and stuff built in and transactional emails, but the people who do the best are people who take an extra step and actually do either through the founder, depending on your size, or through obviously reps and whatnot, and have their own support on top of the patient care, the layer on top of it, right? I'll kind of draw it out actually, because that might be helpful. You have right here, you have your Remo patient care, right? And our Remo care, right? And our care is very good. It's always getting better, always improving. Let's say you have your even if it's not even Remo, let's just say your platform care. Let's actually just because our care is really good, and honestly, again, I don't want this to feel like a salesy kind of thing. I want this to be, even if you're using other platforms, I respect it. I get it. Actually, I don't. You should use us for the best. But yeah, okay. You have your platform care, right? And this is your, under this is your doctor chat, your DC. You have your platform should again have nurses that reach out. I would say this is like your clinical layer. Clinical. I want to say clinical. So this is your clinical layer, right? You have your platform care. And this is really good. And this alone is very strong. I always tell people, this is how you make it even better, is you want a layer on top of your platform care. That is that is what we call your brand care. Right? That's your brand care. And again, this is not needed, but again, I'm going to tell you, I'm trying to give you guys some sauce here, right? Your brand care can either be, your brand care is not a doctor chat, not a nurse, not clinical. Can either be like founder led, which we've seen if you're an influencer, somebody with a brand, and you don't have to do it yourself. You can have a rep on it or something. But founder led, like, hey, like, how are the meds? Anything I can do for you? Anything I can help you with, right? Founder led. It can be rep led. Right. And then what this really is outreach support, right? And this and this is really just, more control, which is very important. You always want control. And a lot of the times when there's an inquiry, you kind of just refer them to the doctor chat. So it's not like, you can have you can have a VA, right? Let's just say, like, hypothetically, you can have a VA call up every patient, which is, again, like, very easy. You have a VA call up, like, hey, how you doing? I'm here at Johnny RX, right? Where, as I say, Johnny RX. Hey, here I work here at Johnny RX. I saw you placed an order. I want to know, how's your trizepatide going? Is there anything you need? Anything I can help you with? You can just call me at this number or reach me at this number. That's your kind of customer support line, because again, you need your brand care. You still need your brand care. And under brand care, like, again, like, you're gonna have, I forgot to mention, but like email and SMS, or even just like email support, or email and phone number support. Sorry, I always recommend this. And phone. Again, you want your layer on top. You want to be, the more the better. And again, you don't need it. I keep repeating myself here. You don't need it because the patient care, platform care is really good. I always tell people it's not hard whatsoever. You need 2 Filipinos and you're chilling. You know what I mean? That brand care is very helpful. And it helps win everybody back, and you get them to buy more. But yeah, let me just keep playing here. So again, you get a rep call up and be like, hey, I'm here, I work at Johnny RX. How's the trizepatide going? Oh, how it's going good. Okay, cool. Yeah. You have any questions? Yeah. By the way, we have a doctor chat. You can reach out to the doctor anytime. Some of the nurses might reach out to you. So just be on the lookout for that. You can always let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help. Is there anything else I can help you with? Okay, cool. Your energy levels? How are your energy levels? Energy levels all right? Okay. Have you tried our NAD? I can get you on our NAD right now. It's 20% off, with Johnny20.com. Use code Johnny20 here. I can walk you through it right now. I can get you set up. If you have the NAD, you'll accelerate your weight loss. Yeah, cool. No worries. Yeah, let's get you on the NAD. Boom. So because I understand upselling and phone upselling is a huge thing, you can, just like on checkout champs for my OG ecom guys, you can, place an order and charge a people's card because the tokens are stored on Remo. Right? So your rep-led and brand care can actually turn into a very profitable win-back and upsell funnel, right? And the best brands we see, upsell, that's not how you spell it, but you get what I mean. The best brands that we see have this layer. They don't just have like email us at Johnny RX if you have any questions. They have a proactive brand care, which again is not hard to build out, that leads to upsells. You can literally upsell 50 to 60% of your people, and that also have a lot lower churn. Again, the platform care is great, but having a little bit of a layer on top of that allows you to even have better. Like, you might as well max it out, right? That's what I tell people. So again, very important stuff. Cross sell to another vertical, like I just mentioned, you can always cross sell. Like we just went over that. Reviews and referrals, you can obviously ask for reviews as well. If you give us a review, we'll give you 50% discount. Stuff is really powerful. Cancel, save people. If people try and cancel. Look, you guys, I'm not going to tell you how aggressive to be with your cancellations or how non-aggressive to be. It's completely up to you, and it's not. It's not my decision. It's not not my right to do that. But what I will say is, unlike Shopify payments, if your mid or a payment account goes down because you didn't give enough refunds or whatever, you're still safe, right? So what that means is, like, typically what I see with some of the most successful brands is if someone tries to cancel, they typically try and defer it to another medicine or try and treat them first, and then if they really want to cancel, they obviously do it, right? But, like, for example, the way you have to view it, if you go into the med spa, if you go into a med spa and you get you get GLPs, right? You buy your GLPs, and the GLPs aren't working. You don't cancel entirely. You go back to the doctor and you're like, okay, the GLPs aren't working. What do I do? The doctor's like, oh, okay, let's up your dose. Let's also put you on this, and let's put you on that. Like, they treat you. And that's the same thing with telehealth, and that's why it can be so profitable. You just have to understand this is, like, cancellations just mean that you have to treat them better. And with the tech that we've built out for you guys, you can literally treat them better. It's okay. Like, if the GLPs aren't working, listen why. Like, okay, it's not okay. Let's up your dosage. You're on the trizepatide orals. This is just GLPs. I'm just giving one example. Or even ED or whatever you're treating for, right? Okay, the trizepatide orals aren't working. Okay, cool. Let's actually up it to trizepatide injections. We're also going to get you on. We're also, just for the sake of the conversation, we're going to get you on an NAD as well, because it helps with the energy side of things. And then we're also going to get you on this meal plan. You can focus on this meal plan. You can actually treat them versus just canceling, right? So cancellations are just more of a skill issue than anything. Also, there's Dooning and card recovery payment built into Remo, so we also want you guys to set up as many mids as possible, right? Again, moving forward, support is a part of marketing. Most operators miss this. So again, 100 patients treated properly with proper brand care, using a good platform like Remo that has really good platform care, can be more impactful, make way more money, be way more passive income than a brand that has 500 patients. I'm not even getting 500 patients, but crap care. Care is very important. Why support matters more in telehealth. Again, side effects, dose questions, and fear, right? A great reply at 9 p.m. prevents a 9 a.m. chargeback. Patients tell their friends about the support. The word of mouth spreads very fast. Insurance and clinic care has been trained to have bad service. If these guys are coming from bad service and they can give them good service, they're going to love you. Beat the bar, and you have moat ads can't buy. Again, guys, theoretically, and again, in this industry, you win by being the best and by taking care of your people versus just trying to get as many people as possible. Literally, like I said again, 100 patients can go way further, better treated than 1,000 or 500, right? And I've seen the back end of many telehealth businesses. I can tell you, there are people out there that literally have acquired a couple hundred patients that take really good care of them, that make 6 figures a month in profit, that are just chilling, living the best life ever, just because they take care of their people. They literally, I know founders that literally will reach out to the patients directly and talk to them directly, and it's fine, and they're killing it. They're making so much money versus the guy who's just trying to crack new ad angles all the time and doesn't care about the back end. Fast responses. This is all for the brand care. Again, we have platform care, but I always advise people, have your own brand care on top of it. Don't neglect that. And again, this is basic customer service stuff. Again, so like I mentioned, the support itself can be very helpful, but you can't give medical advice. But you can always refer to the doctor chat and help as much as possible. So again, the thing a lot of people think if I have a VA reach out or whatnot, they can't really help or change the dosage. First of all, they can make suggestions to the doctor. They can ping the doctor, and they can make the brand support, they can make the platform support better. If you have again, this is a little complicated, but if you have the brand support, they can put in tickets for the platform support to make it accelerated, make it faster. So they work in conjunction, right? And we kind of build this out with all our Remo clients as well. But when you have someone that just cares and someone that reaches out, that means more to the patient than anything, right? So again, like even if someone reaches out and the patient's like, oh, this is shit, I want to change it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. We'll get the doctor, blah, blah, blah. That, even though that's a bit of a process, it still matters to the patient. It's still like, because again, you go to the doctor's office, typically the doctor comes in for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. They come in later too. Typically, you know, the doctor can't be the one that comes in first. It's a nurse or someone that talks to the patient first, right? Escalation paths to the provider, like I just mentioned. Again, like we have escalation built into the platform. Handling the side effect report, again, we have a lot of this already built in. You don't have to worry about it. Refund versus credit decisions. Again, like I always tell people, like you typically never need to default to a refund because you can treat the patient better. But in the case where, you know, they really want a refund, you give it. You know, you don't want to not give them their money. The dollar value of a great support reply, right? So one, saved cancellation pays for hours of support time. A great reply produces a review. Again, you don't want to have to deal with chargebacks, but we have chargeback protection. We directly integrate with Disputify and whatnot. So you guys never really have to worry about like getting your mid shut down because of chargebacks. We're going to make sure you're protected. Example copy, welcome email, right? Take a look at this. Went back, example here, you can take a screenshot of that. Email versus SMS. Email carries the story, SMS carries urgency. SMS is very good for like Memorial Day sale, this sale, that sale. I always say seasonal sales, SMS crushes. Segment with RF, so like, you know, frequency, monetary value. This kind of just helps you segment out so you're not sending the same message to everybody. Protect your deliverability. Again, we help you with this email if you authenticated domain. Proper setup. Again, I'm not going to go too deep in the email here. Stay compliant on SMS. SMS and telehealth is a little bit regulated, so you have to respect it. Twilio, there's ways around it with customer.io, but just keep in mind, like it is a little bit regulated, especially if you want to get blue text messages. You have to go through send blue, and there's like some sort of process there that you have to go through with them. We can help as much as possible. Then real candidates, test everything that matters. Grow list on purpose. Again, like your list is going to make you a lot of money, guys. So don't neglect it. Do not neglect your list. Like a lot of, again, like your telehealth list literally is not just like for email blast. Like that list can be called up. That list can be SMS. That list can be email blast and put into flows. Like your list can really bring you a lot of money and a lot of recurring revenue if done right. Benchmarks to aim for. 30% is key. And I always mention calling. And then again, a lot of this can be built with AI. We connect to a lot of AI tools as well. Example copy. Okay, let's get to module 9, scaling in the long game, right? Getting live is step 1, the assets built average. So most people, make sure this is still going. Okay, cool. It's not sure. Okay. All right. There we go. Getting live is step 1. The assets is built out. So most people stop thinking once they launch. The real money is what you do at 50K, 100K, 500K months. This is what I like to talk about. This is my favorite part, right? Raising your AOV. The fastest lever that you already have. So bundle complementary products. I'll tell you right now, the best way to raise your AOV in telehealth is by phoning, calling. That's it. You know, you're gonna raise your AOV the most by having phone reps call up and sell higher ticket packages, and then have promos for like 1 year up front, 6 months up front, like, because in telehealth, that's the easiest way. Getting people to take those latter options. Adding verticals, right? Again, this is very important. The easiest way to do this is through email, SMS, and retention marketing and calling, right? All the back end stuff. A GLP patient, you know, if somebody comes into your ecosystem, you have a patient, you have their card on file. Remember, the way Remo is set up is just like, you know, when you go to a med spa and or you go to the doctor's office, they have your card on file. We have that for you guys. You have their card on file. When you have a patient, right, you could sell them on, you know, you have you are, you know, we're HIPAA compliant, obviously. I'm gonna say we're compliant, so you can't just like bill the crap out of people, right? But you have the ability to sell them on other things compliantly and charge their card. So just like any med spa, just like any doctor's office, right? So you have that card on file. That's a very easy way for you to get a GLP patient. Don't think of it as like someone who just bought, you know, semaglutide from you. Think of it as your patient someone that your Johnny RX is treating, right? You can sell them on ED, you can sell them on energy, you can sell them anything. You're a patient. You guys, I'm telling you right now, between you and me, I know of telehealth brands that have really good care. And again, telehealth brands don't just have to be, Hims and Hers and Blue Chew. There are a lot of smaller ones that are just people who make content, who have their own platform, or like when I say platform, like their own like personal brand, and they use platforms like Remo to sell, right? That literally have a patient that'll spend $10,000 a year with them, close to $1,000 a month, right? On just like NAD, GLP, this and that, and then the founder texts the patient directly. Right, that's a sector of this industry. So you guys can treat them on multiple things. I mean, if someone comes in for, let's say, like I'm just saying something random. Like let's say you're selling HRT, you can also get them on GLP and NAD, and you can get them on all these things, right? Like again, you can, this is your patient, you're the owner. Go multi-brand. A lot of people don't realize it, but I'm a big portfolio multi-brand guy. Even though like a lot the normie mind, and I hate to say that word, but a lot of people think that like, oh, like just go one brand, build it to the moon. Like guys, you can have, if you have something that works, you have your brand care dialed in, you have your forecasting dialed in, you have your team members, your creative strategy, your marketing, organic marketing funnels. Like you have it all dialed in and you do really well. Let's say on ED, spin up another brand for female ED, spin up another brand for GLP, spin up have 4 or 5 brands all at like 3-4 million a month in recurring. You're doing, 100 million a year. Like you can build a telehealth portfolio with what we're building for you guys, like, or what we've built at Remo. Like you can have unlimited verticals, just like how Shopify has it set up with Shopify Plus and everything. We've enabled portfolio owners. I'm a portfolio owner myself on Shopify. I know the portfolio model and I know how profitable and great it is. You guys can run that. B2B is the flank around the paid traffic. Employees, gyms, corporate wellness, and our untapped channels. One contract can deliver 100 of patients at $0 CAC. This is another like idea for you guys. A lot of you guys don't realize, but your Johnny RX doesn't just have to be D2C. You can have people buy at large contracts through Johnny RX. Like you can have gyms and med spas and whatnot buy from you. And again, I'm not going to go too much into this because I wanted to keep this D2C friendly, but I want just you guys to kind of expand your mind here on like, damn, like, the sky's the limit. Employers and wellness channels, again, like I just mentioned, expand your reach. That is what I just mentioned. Again, building a team, right? Your marketing economics close to you early. That's all that matters. All that stuff. You can bring on media buyers, building a team. Again, like it's just like normal e-com. So initially you don't really need much using your customer service side, which again, like I mentioned before, is a little bit different than normal e-com. You want some sort of calling and some sort of like extra care. And then just like the media buying and creative strategy. That's really all it is. If you're good at media buying, direct response, and creative strategy, you can kill it. And I already gave you guys tips on, middle of funnel and whatnot, but like it's not hard. It is really not hard. Your job initially is just creative strategy. If I had to break it down to you, coming up with ad angles that work, right? Like right now, a SKU that's doing really well between Remo is the Quattro. It's like this ED SKU. It's like this 4-in-1 ED shot, like a liquid shot that you like drink. And one of the top angles people are doing for that is like, don't take this, don't take Viagra, take this instead. That's a winning angle that people are scaling. So just coming up with angles and doing creative strategies is the most important thing off the bat. And then, one good ad angle can literally get you to $1 million at MRR. Systemize your operations. This is very basic, right? The data flywheel. So again, you can keep learning more about the customers and keep growing. Again, bootstrap or raise. With telehealth, I always tell people, if you're going to go down the meta ad route, and you have to realize that you might burn some money, finding profitable ad angles. Like when people say like, oh, you can start with zero, people say this in dropshipping. I always tell them, no, you can't. Any business, you burn capital starting, whatever it be, testing or, negative acquisition for subscriptions, whatever it may be, you always end up losing some money. That's just the nature of business. So in telehealth, like I just mentioned, you guys need to understand that unless you have like your own, organic platform, like your own personal brand and whatnot, and you have access to your creators, you're very, very savvy on the marketing side, just know when you do ads, you will burn some capital. And a lot of times you can raise. It's not hard to raise. I know people that are good at ads, they don't have capital. They either find an investor, they find a way to get a loan, or they literally, they'll find a way to raise somehow, and then they come in and they kill it, right? So yeah, again, I'm not going to get into bootstrap versus raising what I think is best. I think raising is super smart. I think if people have leveraged the funding and they understand, the opportunity, and they're bullish and they have some balls, it's totally worth it, right? Some of the best people I'll tell you right now that I've seen in telehealth are brands that have raised. They've given up a bit of equity, or they've taken a loan initially, and they've come in and they just they acquired really quickly, really fast, and they just dialed in. So raising is really smart. Now, on the bigger side of things, if you're going for exit, so I always tell people telehealth is a great business to exit because you have really, really, really good, I should have mentioned at the beginning, but these businesses get valued at very high amounts. So to look at the bigger picture here, if you're building in telehealth, I always tell people a big indication that someone is a smart entrepreneur is if they've built in an industry that has a high evaluation. So for example, I don't think agency owners are smart people because you put a lot of work in to build a business that is very hard to exit. You should be transparent enough that you want to exit a business. I remember I've done many, public speaking talks before, and I always ask the room at some point, raise your hand if you want to exit a business. I promise you everybody wants to exit a business. If you're in entrepreneurship, everybody dreams of that exit, of that, 9-figure wire coming in, taking a yacht in Monaco. Let's not lie. Let's be realistic here because your goals are achievable. In entrepreneurship, you always want to pick a business that's highly exitable. Telehealth is very, very exitable. Before people say it's high risk and compliance, they don't know what they're talking about. They think RUO and RX are all the same thing. It's not. If you're doing RX, proper telehealth, you have patients, you take care of your patients, you have people on recurring, you have good LTV, good numbers, and you're growing, you have a business that can literally sell for 5 to 7x. Double normal e-com margins. If you don't believe me, look it up. You can literally AI and look it up. I've talked to brokers before. I've done my fair share of research. It has very, very good exit potentials. You get a business to $1 million a year in profit. You're selling that thing for 8 figures. You're walking away as a multi-millionaire, a deca millionaire, just by getting the right business going. So it is very exitable. It is very lucrative. Acquirers want everything that telehealth gives you, right? And again, anyone who says, no, otherwise, they don't know telehealth. They don't know about legit scripts and RX and doctor chats and compliance and HIPAA. They don't know any about that. They think that peptide site that their friend gets the Chinese peptides from is the same as hims and hers. They don't understand it. So don't listen to the average person because they haven't sat here through a 30-hour free course like you have. Think bigger than one brand, or just think as one brand. I everyone has their own moat, own strategy. I like the portfolio approach. I know people prefer the one brand approach. Whatever you do, just know that, think big and you will achieve big. To build a moat that people won't copy, a lot of the times, in telehealth, their moat's already built for you. I always tell people, proper marketing. You can have a good back-end system. You can have good phone calling. Stuff like this makes you kind of stand out. That infrastructure can help you replicate. All right, let's go over your 90-day roadmap. So 90-day at glance, right? So the first 0 to 30 days, and again, this is assuming you go to Remo. So assuming you sign up for Remo and you move forward with us, which I hope you do, I really do. And if you don't, I get it. I'm not going to, I hope this gives you value, right? I just want to give people value at the end of the day. Let's say you did sign up for Remo, you pick your niche, your offer, you get your legit script, your intake, everything gets done, right? Then by, within a month, once your legit script comes in, everything's set up, you have your ads ready, your meta accounts ready, you have everything set to go. You launch your middle funnel meta, you get some of your first patients, you start creator seeding, you get email and SMS live. By month 3, you're scaling up, you have your forecasting dialed in, you widen your traffic, you have patients that are being cross-selled and buying more stuff, you have actual profit coming in. Weeks 1 to 2, right, you're picking your niche, and you can go to module 3 where we talk about that. You lock in your offer, pricing, positioning, get on Remo and start building a storefront, and begin the legit script application through Remo, and you got your quiz and everything dialed in. start building out the machine, right? Again, like Stripe is set up like instantly once you have your legit script through Stripe Connect on Remote, which is Remote Pay. You get your backup mids set up, which we can help you with that. You produce, and you don't even need your backup mids as an extra step, but like whatever's, we want to get people up as fast as possible. You make some ads, you start looking at the landscape of other brands. You can draft up some email and SMS flows, get your customer IO going, set up your tracking pixel analytics, which we help you with, right? Weeks 5 to 6, you launch your traffic, you go live, you get stuff going, you watch CACs, Google rates, payback, you kind of get all of the stuff that we talked about, right? And then you can add it organic later on and really start building out that true brand. And then you start scaling what works, right? You reinvest profit and you clear winners, start building a real business, right? And you plan your flow. Like I said, you have to be being transparent here. You know, the business, if you're going to do ads off the bat, it's going to cost you money. So you have to just kind of forecast it and plan your flow. If you guys need any help with like forecasting and like actual subscription-based e-commerce, I have a lot of other content on that as well that could always help you out. Your tool checklist, right here, give it down to you. Who does what? This is kind of a breakdown of the stuff that you could be doing, or you can just do it all yourself initially, like a lot of people don't realize, but media buying and creative strategy is not the hardest thing in the world. And yeah, the big idea, AI is a lever that many of you pulled. You can pull it too, right? You can use AI to come up with creative, support, a lot of your copy. A lot of the stuff that can be done with AI. And again, this is more normal e-com stuff you can find on other parts of my channel, right? You can make creative variations, right? I went over that. Tier 1 support, intake question generation. This is kind of basic. AI as compliance, again, basic. Lifestyle copy, basic. And you don't have to worry about that. Build out targets again. Okay. Funnel, yeah, okay. Basic stuff here again. Sorry, it's kind of repeating some of the same information here. A lot of mistakes. Again, we kind of ran over all these already throughout the program, right? The big idea, the only goal for now is to get your first 100 patients. It is not hard, guys. Like I said, you can do it through ads, through organic. I've literally went over as much as I physically could to get to there, right? Your first week checklist, again, when you get into it, be clear on the niche you want to select. You don't have to do GLPs. Again, you could do like UTI support. You could do this. You could do that. Like you could do ED. I think ED is so good. Sleep. Like, can someone please do some sleep? I'm telling you guys, sleep is so good. Like, you know how many people are on melatonin right now and that like are dependent on it, and if you tell them, hey, take this, it's better than melatonin, you will get people so quickly. What it actually costs to start, platform and setup, with a predictable flat fee. All platforms have costs, so you can't avoid that. Initial creative, cheap UGC and AI, doesn't cost much. Ad budgets, and then the float if you're going to do ads. 90 days, the slow version, you can move much faster. If you move fast, you can get up, right? This is a compressed timeline right here, right? Let's talk about the platform. So here's what I wanted to show you guys before. Here is example of what the platform kind of looks like. Again, like you can see analytics, you can see all the stuff here, leads and customers. And by the way, if you want a demo, you just go to remo.co, you can book in a demo and kind of get more information. You kind of see how it looks, customers, active treatments, all that great stuff. At a glance, we have this kind of built out. You know, we're always adding new features, always adding new stuff. So this is, I think we made it a little bit funny, but yeah, we're always adding new stuff here. Then you can see orders, you can see all the orders, again, all the orders coming in and all that great stuff, different treatments. And again, we always add new treatments and we customize treatments, but you can see like what specific treatments, you can see the active treatments, you can see where they're at. Like on their dosage cycle and where they're at with the doctor. You can see the card on file, how everything is reusable, pharmacies and whatnot. You can see subscriptions, you can see the rebills that have declined because of payment failure, whatever it be. You can manually retry them or get it all built out into the platform. Prepaid shipments, you can see the upcoming shipments and how things should be looking. You can see the check-ins people have with the doctor and all this. And again, we have team members that will walk you through every step on how this works. Like I said, it is literally Shopify at Telehealth. All the customers, everything broken down by their LTVs. So you have all your data. We also have AIs plugged into where you can pull out your marketing and analytical data to make decisions. You can have the leads. Again, leads drip into, we connect directly with Customer IO and all these other platforms. So leads can drip into other platforms. All your offerings as well, price profiles where you're pricing stuff out, coupon codes, your different teleforms. So these are your intake forms and all the ones that we have and the new ones you can build out. Invoices, charges, and then audit for compliance and whatnot, fulfillment alerts, all that. You have more analytics down here. Analytics can even be broken down. Right here, you can see like traffic and attribution. Right, you can see like all your attribution, traffic, everything broken down to understand like how your business is actually running. You have your revenues, right? You can understand how your revenue is going and your revenue over time. Again, your treatments, you can see all your treatments, your teleforms, and how you can see how leads are kind of dripping from here and where you need to optimize and whatnot. You can see your pricings. Again, I'm moving through this really fast. If you guys want a more intensive demo, just book. First link in the bio. You can see your forecasted rebuilds, right? You can see how much in the next 30 days, how much is going to be coming in and whatnot, and which SKUs and for what. And you can see your order map. Built this in just like Shopify. You can see where your orders, so for where your orders are coming in from whatnot. And we're also building it out so it's kind of like Shopify. We can see the orders in real time and whatnot. And we'll send out plaques and cool stuff like that. Again, like I said, it is the Shopify telehealth. And if you want a more intensive breakdown, book a call. Nothing on the market comes close to what we've built. I'm going to say this with all my ego, all my heart. The team, the people, everyone behind Remo has put blood, sweat, and tears to make it what it is literally the best thing on the planet. Now, where to go from here, right? The big idea, your domain, your data, your money, right? At the end of the day, one of the biggest reasons why we built Remo is because we realized that a lot of the solutions and everything out there aren't, fair to the client. And we wanted to build something where you own your data, you own everything, right? So that's why we built Remo, right? Isn't it? So a couple little ejections at the end. Isn't this saturated? Like I said, GLPs are crowded. Most other niches aren't, but you can also win in GLPs with a sharp angle. Compounding GLPs are not going away. This is a huge misconception. We already went over that. Do I need to be a doctor? No, you do not need to be a doctor at all. What about chargebacks and bans? It is not high risk whatsoever since it's very compliant and people actually get treated properly, but we also have protection set up for you guys. This is actually legal. Done right, it is completely legal. The whole thing in 60 seconds, right? Everything we covered, who I was, why this model beats everything that I've been associated with before, everything that I've tried, how telehealth works, everything about it. It's e-com plus a doctor, ending in the subscription, the market, the brands, the niches, why now, everything about it, compliance, marketing, and everything, right? Now, what you have now, you have a real understanding of the model and the money, a map of the market and open lanes, paid and organic lifestyle playbooks, an 90-day plan that you can start this week, the platform that runs all the hard parts for you. Now, let's build. So stop renting the dream, own the asset. So again, I hope you guys, enjoyed. Let me see the same thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this. What is going to be a couple hours that you've spent with me. If you've learned anything from this, it's that telehealth is great. No, I'm kidding. I hope you guys, learned something from this. And even if you don't, come with us at Remo, I only wish you guys the best. A big part of me really just wanted to make this this free course and whatnot because I want to update people on what I'm working at, what I'm doing, right? Because a lot of people that have been following me for a while, I put out a lot of entrepreneurship content. I've put out a lot of e-commerce content. I think it's about time, in the telespace for a very long time. No one's really made a bunch of content on this. No one's put out a course or any sort of education. I felt like, why not, right? So again, like even if you guys don't end up using us and you end up, just taking the knowledge and building on top of it, or maybe you utilized some of the learnings here into other industries, I completely get it and I respect it so much. But you know what? I want to thank you guys for sticking through. If you guys like this type of content, you like me, drop a like, drop a subscribe, drop a comment, let me know. My IG, I'll put it in the bio as well. It's at Samir, SAAMIRIR. And if you have any questions, you can always just DM me anytime. So I wish I get back to DMs. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you watching this. Only wish you guys the best. God bless. See you guys soon. Peace out. All love.